Uh, well, yes. Yesterday, the arguments took place between Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, who was representing the Assam government, and Abhishek, Senior Advocate Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who was appearing on behalf of Pawan Khera. There were long arguments that took place where the arguments that were put forth by Abhishek Manu Singhvi were that it wasn't required for the Assam police to take Pawan Khera into custody, as it was just a mere case of defamation. There was no need for them to send 40 to 70 police officials to Pawan Khera's residence. And on that specific ground, he was actually seeking an anticipatory bail. However, it was brought to the knowledge of Supreme Court that it was by Tushar Mehta that it was not just a case of defamation, because serious charges were pressed by Assam Police in the FIR, sections related to forgery, sections related to. So, because at the time of the press conference, Pawan Khera had also displayed some documents related to the access of passport by Himanta Biswa Sarma's wife. So it was alleged that Pawan Khera had forged those documents, and therefore it's important for the Assam Police to take him into custody. The Supreme Court took cognizance of that. Long arguments happened yesterday. However, the orders were reserved yesterday. Now the latest that we are getting, that Supreme Court has granted anticipatory bail to Pawan Khera. He has already been denied that anticipatory bail twice, where Telangana High Court had previously passed an order in his favor, which was stayed by the Supreme Court. Later, he went to Guwahati High Court, where Guwahati High Court also denied him anticipatory bail. Now, the latest that we are getting is that Supreme Court has finally granted him that anticipatory bail. So what all legal remedies and what all legal procedure Pawan Khera would be following post this, this is something that we are constantly tracking.
All right, let's go straight across to Aniruddha is joining us too. Aniruddha, you know, SG Tushar Mehta has said that the documents which were shown by Pawan Khera in that press conference, they were fake. I mean, the images of the passports was fake. The information which was presented, that was also fake.
Yes, Zivangi, in fact, it's a much relief that has been given to Pawan Khera by the Supreme Court. Yes, as per the allegations and the arguments that were placed in front of the court by Tushar Mehta has also pointed out that all the documents which Pawan Khera has showed in the press conference were false. They were photoshopped, and also evidences were also placed before the court. And in fact, in previous setbacks at the Guwahati High Court and also in the Supreme Court, when the Supreme Court asked him to go to a lower court instead of asking for relief directly in the Supreme Court, and thereafter subsequently the matter was taken up in the lower courts in Guwahati and subsequently in the Guwahati High Court, and now thereafter in the Supreme Court. The arguments that were placed by the state government of Assam and also by SG Tushar Mehta, they had pointed out several anomalies, and also several questions were put by the SG and the government of Assam in the court as far as Pawan Khera's whereabouts and his motive were concerned. Pawan Khera, on the other hand, had placed before the Supreme Court that he fears custodial humiliation, and based on it, while hearing the arguments in the Supreme Court yesterday, the Supreme Court reserved its order, and today the Supreme Court has granted anticipatory bail to Pawan Khera.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Aniruddha, but thank you for getting those details. I'm getting some more live pictures. In fact, I'll stay with you, Aniruddha, I will stay with you. Let's stay with you and tell our viewers a little bit about the background of this case. You know, we saw so many allegations that Pawan Khera made. against Himanta Biswa Sarma and his wife, and we saw a big political showdown over this case in which Pawan Khera has got an FIR and now he's got anticipatory bail. Just take our viewers through what's been happening, this entire slugfest. That too happened just before the Assam elections.
Yes, Ivangi, just before the Assam election, probably on 4th of April, Pawan Khera did a press conference in Delhi, and subsequently another press conference was done in Guwahati, where Pawan Khera alleged that Riniki Bhuyan Sharma, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma's wife, has got, multiple passports, and he had also sold property, claiming that those property belongs to Riniki Bhuyan Sharma and Himanta Biswa Sharma, and tried to give a sense or a portrayal in front of the media that Himanta Biswa Sharma and Riniki Bhuyan Sharma, both of them are has been amassing wealth in foreign soil, and the passports and the golden visa of Dubai or the United Arab Emirates that were shown, that those were again given a rebuttal by Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma as well as his wife Riniki Bhuyan Sharma, where they had put on record that all those documents that Pawan Khera has been trying to show are forged, and they have no direct connection with Himanta Biswa Sharma or his family. In fact, Riniki Bhuyan Sharma, after the FIR was filed against Pawan Khera, Riniki Bhuyan Sharma also interacted exclusively with Republic Media Network, where she also launched a sketching attack on the Congress party, alleging that the Congress party has not only attacked her, but it was an attack on the esteem of women in India. And we also witnessed how Pawan Khera tried to remain underground. Police from Assam came to his residence in Delhi. They conducted raids at his residence, but he was nowhere to be found. In fact, he has been absconding. He has been
Anuradha,
on the
hold
run
on for a second there. Anuradha, I'm getting some more breaking news coming in. The Republic has accessed the bail order. So I just want to go ahead and tell our viewers what it says. We'll try to go to Sarthak also, because Sarthak knows what happened in court. Republic accesses Pawan Khera's anticipatory bail order. Khera has been asked to cooperate, appear before police as needed. Khera warned not to tamper with evidence during the trial pendency. Khera asked not to leave India without prior leave from court. So without informing the court, Pawan Khera cannot leave the country. They're making this very, very clear. And the court had observed that the allegations appear to carry political overtones when giving the anticipatory bail to Congress leader Pawan Khera in Assam Police FIR. Sarthak, yes, take our viewers through, just go through the main points of the bail order that Republic TV has accessed.
Yes, absolutely. Republic has been at the forefront of tracking this case, and this time around we have also gained access to the bail order, which says that the anticipatory bail has been granted to Pawan Khera. However, there are some standard conditions that have been applied in the bail order, where he has to support the investigation, he has to adhere to all the conditions that will be applied during the course of this investigation. He cannot fly outside India, he cannot travel outside India. So these are some standard conditions that have been applied and that have been pressed in the bail order. It is very important to mention that the investigation is still ongoing, but the Supreme Court has observed that in this kind of investigation,
तिब्बती भाषा में अनुवाद हुआ, 108 मठों की स्थापना हुई, अलची मठ की स्थापना हुई और बौद्ध धर्म को संस्थागत और स्थायी स्वरूप दिया गया। मित्रों, आज भी पूरे दुनिया में जहां जहां बौद्ध परंपरा है, लद्दाख से संवर्धित हुआ ये ज्ञान बहुत महत्वपूर्ण माना जाता है। आज ये पवित्र अवशेष यहाँ पर आए हैं, तब मैं एक बात कहना चाहता हूं। महायान बौद्ध साहित्य में कहा गया है, पवित्र अवशेषों का दर्शन करने का सौभाग्य जब मिलता है तब बुद्ध का ही दर्शन करने का सौभाग्य मिलता है। और आज इतने लंबे समय के बाद लद्दाख की जनता को स्वयं बुद्ध का दर्शन करने का सौभाग्य मिल रहा है। मैं आप सभी को बहुत बहुत इसके लिए शुभकामनाएं देना चाहता हूं। और लद्दाख प्रशासन से भी मेरा आग्रह है कि हम पूरी सुविधा करें कि सभी मतों के अनुयायी यहाँ आए और बौद्ध मत के अनुयायी तो कोई न छूट जाए, इस प्रकार की प्रशासन ने संपूर्ण व्यवस्था करनी चाहिए। यहाँ पर आईटीबीपी, सेना और लद्दाख प्रशासन अपने घर पर बुद्ध पधारे हैं, इसी प्रकार से आव भगत और सुविधाओं के लिए हमेशा तत्पर रहना चाहिए। मित्रों, अंत में मैं एक ही बात कहता हूं, भगवान बुद्ध ने जब ज्ञान प्राप्त किया और ज्ञान का प्रचार और प्रसार किया, अनेक भिक्षुओं को देश भर में फैलाकर ये ज्ञान का प्रचार किया, उस वक्त बुद्ध का ज्ञान जितना प्रासंगिक था, आज 2500 साल के बाद बुद्ध का ज्ञान दुनिया के लिए बहुत ज्यादा प्रासंगिक है। बुद्ध के 2500 साल के बाद भी बुद्ध का ज्ञान बहुत ज्यादा प्रासंगिक है। और मैं तो आशा करता हूं कि भारत के ज्ञान को, तथागत के महान संदेश को, भगवान बुद्ध के संदेश को पूरी दुनिया।
That was Home Minister Amit Shah speaking in Leh, inaugurating Lord Buddha's sacred holy relics exposition in Ladakh.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। MTH का जल जीरा, जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now, the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires,
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है? आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट? स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
Character, the taste of success.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can just look at the enemy plane through the visor and the missile follows the eyes. This high off-bore sight ability lets the jet attack from strange angles without turning the whole plane first. This upgrade matters a lot because the region stays tense. Pakistan flies JF-17 jets with modern PL-10 missiles that reach farther and lock on quicker. China uses even better systems on its J-20 stealth fighters and other planes. In a real dogfight, the old MiG-29 with R-73 could lose the first shot. With ASRAAM, the Indian pilots get longer reach, faster lock, and higher chance to survive. The missile also works well against low-flying drones that are hard to see on radar. Many experts see drone swarms as the new big threat in air wars, and this upgrade gives the MiG-29 a strong answer. The ASRAAM already proved itself on Indian planes. The Air Force fitted it successfully on the homemade LCA Tejas and the Jaguar fighters. Those tests went smooth, so putting it on the MiG-29 UPG is a natural next step. The request includes new launchers, special tools, testing equipment, and training for ground crews and pilots. Once the work finishes, the whole fleet will get the missiles step by step. This keeps the MiG-29 useful for many more years until newer Indian planes, like more Tejas and the advanced medium combat aircraft, join in big numbers.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Thank you for joining us on the live report, ladies and gentlemen. 2 days before the results are out in Bengal, and boy oh boy, the theatrics have only increased, they've intensified, and Mamata Banerjee at the heart of it, trying to fight before perhaps she loses. We don't know, that's what she is anticipating. She's already anticipating a loss. We'll tell you why, and we'll tell you all about the drama and how the Election Commission has rubbished every claim so far. Here are the headlines on the live report. Counting centers reduced in Bengal. That's the breaking input. The counting centers have been reduced from 87 to 77. Further reduction in the last few days when they came down from 108 to 87, now finally 77. Note takers for the midnight drama. Mamata Banerjee tries to go to the strong room and tries to create sympathy wave. No takers because all our claims have been dismissed. EC rubbishes the Trinamool Congress claim. Talks about how there were postal ballots being segregated and how all candidates were informed about it in advance. Republic accesses the letter from the Election Commission to all candidates, and that letter exposes the very basis of the claim that they made on the strong rooms. The CCTV claim has also fallen flat. It now appears that the CCTV footage actually showed segregation after informing the candidates. The claims of EVM tampering have fallen flat. Is the Trinamool Congress anticipating defeat? Mamata Banerjee extremely nervous ahead of May 4th. Ladies and gentlemen, ahead of the Bengal Assembly election results, the Election Commission is preparing to reduce. In fact, it has already reduced officially the number of counting centers in Bengal. It was earlier reduced from 108 to 87 and has been further brought down to 77 this morning. Republic TV, the only channel getting you the details. Now, there is obviously a reason why the Election Commission is doing this. And prior to this, about 2 weeks ago, the number of centers had already been reduced from 108 to 87. And Harsha is joining me live. Harsha, is there a specific reason? Is safety, security one of the reasons why this is being done? Harsha? Okay, I'm trying to see if you can hear me. Harsha, is safety, security,
yes,
security primarily the reason?
Security primarily the reason regarding at the counting centers, Ranjan, you have been stating about the security reason which Mamata is stating that it is the interference of the security that is involved in the rigging of the polls, but that's not the point here, Niranjan. What we see here is the desperation, and what we see here is the Chief Minister herself getting rattled. And Niranjan, whomsoever I've spoken to from 2011 to 2021, all this time, whenever Mamata Banerjee has been contesting election, she has not came out a single time during the day of the polling, and also she has never visited a strong room. This is for the very first time that Mamata Banerjee herself has visited to the strong room. Right now, showing you the visuals from the counting center in Bhawanipur, Niranjan, where exactly the chaos broke out yesterday night, where there was a clash between TMC and BJP. Mamata Banerjee herself visited the strong room. She went inside, she checked everything herself, and she came out stating everything is all right. And also Manoj Agarwal, the CEO himself, stated that to the observers and the candidates of the TMC, the letter was given by the Election Commission of India to visit the strong room at the time when there will be segregation of the postal ballot. The TMC chose not to come, and if they are not available, if they are not coming to the strong room, even then we have to do the the segregation of the postal ballot. That is the reason why yesterday was the chaos, because TMC didn't come at the point where actually the segregation of the postal ballot was happening. After that, there was CCTV footage. The CCTV was right, Shravan, but Niranjan, but the allegation were wrong, Niranjan. The allegation were completely wrong, which also in the press conference CEO Manoj Agarwal himself stated. Right now, if you see, Niranjan, this looks like counting centers are becoming and transforming into the fort, as we see more and more security deployment has been enhanced overall. Earlier, the counting centers were 108 in number. Now they have been reduced to 77 number. And Niranjan, this all so that in counting centers remain in headquarter and in subdivision, so that the security can be adequately deployed each and everywhere. You see the number of forces which are now here after the polling in the state of West Bengal, 700 companies. And in that 700 company, 200 company will only protect the strong room and the counting center. The 500 will be engaged in ensuring that there is no law and order situation in the state of West Bengal. This is the situation of West Bengal right now. Allegations coming from the TMC party, and also BJP is not leaving any stone unturned to give back the response to the TMC, because yesterday night when Shashi Panja and Kunal Ghosh were here at the counting center, immediately BJP leaders like Priyanka Tibrewal and others reached the spot. There was immense chaos here, Niranjan, immense chaos, and that all because of the allegations of the TMC of deletion and coercion of the votes, which was completely fake, which was misleading, which Election Commission also have stated. But right now, this is the place, this is the counting center, Niranjan, where the votes of the Bhawanipur along with other places of the South 24 Parganas are sealed, are locked in the strong room. We show you the visuals. More than 20-25 security officials, the companies who have been deployed here to ensure that the security measures are adequate. You see how alert the security forces have now been deployed. Not only the police officials from the south region, but also the para forces who have been deployed here to ensure the security measures at the counting center. This is one counting center, Niranjan, where eyes are from each and every vantage, each and every political party has the eyes on this particular counting center, because this is a place where on 4th we will see a lot of action. Immense action will be seen from this counting center, because we are expecting Suvendu Adhikari, Mamta Banerjee, all will be here on the day of the counting. And counting center, as we were talking, has been reduced to 77, but deployment of massive forces here at the counting center, which also gives a lot of sense of the deployment by the election machinery for the counting day of counting, as Bengal has always witnessed the history of the post-poll violence, be 2021, be 2024 parliamentary election, or be 2023 panchayat post or 2011 elections. Post-poll have always been witnessed at the highest of level, and that is the reason why these visuals become very important to show you, because it's just today, after 3 days, there is counting, and all eyes, Niranjan, are on the counting centers, which are deliberately being stated that the tampering is happening, deletion is happening, coercion is happening. But the reality is that no one is allowed to enter the counting center. In fact, this time Election Commission of India has given the QR code, and photo identity card has been issued to the people who are only allowed to enter the counting center. If they don't have a QR code and the photo identity, then those will not be allowed inside the counting center. So that's the kind of arrangement which Election Commission has done this time to ensure that the security measures are intact and there is no rigging, and no one tries to create chaos inside the counting center on the day when actually the counting of votes is taking place. Back to you, Niranjan.
You know, the whole fight between Mamata Banerjee and the Election Commission. Let's pull out the pictures from last night, because the story is about what happened last night. And we were live last night from outside the strong room, and Republic Bangla is live there even now. Harsha is outside another strong room right now. Mamata Banerjee has alleged, and that's my next angle. Let's go across to that. Mamata Banerjee has claimed, she's tried to claim EVM tampering, etc., because obviously she's anticipating defeat. She feels, most polls are saying that she's on the way out. Most exit polls say Mamata Banerjee may not even win the election, and that is why there was a huge chaos last night outside the strong room. Trinamool Congress resorting to late night drama. We were live on these pictures last night when the Trinamool Congress tried to create a ruckus. And they tried to make these fake claims of EVM tampering. While I stay on these pictures, we'll also show you the video of what Mamata Banerjee and the Trinamool Congress claimed. They tried to show a video, and in that video, essentially, postal ballots were being segregated. Postal ballots were being segregated. Not even opened, they were being segregated. And they tried to pass that off as EVM tampering. Harsha, Election Commission has given a point-by-point blow. They've given a point-by-point response of what happened. If you can take us through what happened in that video. We'll play out that video and Harsha will explain to us, because there is an attempt to spread fake news. Why don't you speak over the video and tell our viewers what happened? We'll show the chaos and we'll show the fake CCTV claim. Yes, Harsha.
So, Niranjan, on our screen, we play the CCTV playout, which exactly was the video which was posted by the TMC on their social media platform, stating that this is the deletion and coercion of the votes of majorly of the TMC, because Mamata Banerjee now seems to be rattled and completely furious over. She believes that this is a very tough competition. She's on edge. If anyone who wins from this constituency, Niranjan, it's going to be, the difference is going to be only of 900 to 1,000 votes and not more than that. And if I tell you about CCTV, morning strong room was completely sealed and locked in the presence of observers and candidates. The candidates from both TMC and BJP and other parties were present here when the strong room was locked. But after that, at 4 o'clock, before the segregation of the postal vote, it was told to each and every political party to come at the strong room for the segregation of postal ballot, because postal ballot from several places it has come. It has to be segregated according to assembly constituency. Let's say there's assembly constituency number 102, assembly constituency number 119, 117, 118. If you see, there are polling station, and we can clearly understand how many numbers of polling station there are. And according to the segregation of assembly constituencies, Niranjan, the segregation of postal ballots was to be done. And Election Commission of India invited BJP, TMC, Congress, CPM, all the parties to come here, so that in presence of the candidates, this entire segregation of postal ballot could take place. But what happened was, no one from TMC came. Neither Shashi Panja came, neither Kunal Ghosh came, no one from TMC party came. BJP sent its one of the candidates from BJP reached here, CPM candidate reached here, and this particular video from a strong room is that only. There's no opening of the seal, there's no opening of the postal ballot. No one has actually opened the votes and seen who has voted for whom. Only the ballots are being segregated according to assembly constituency wise. If you see, Niranjan, the women there who are working, they are taking out the postal ballot and they are segregating it according to the assembly constituency. The work is being done because that is important. We spoke to Manoj Agarwal this morning, Niranjan. He said this is the works of Election Commission of India. Election Commission of India will perform its duty. The candidates have to come, then welcome. If they don't want to come, then okay. But we have to do our duties. We have to do this work before the day of the counting, which is very important. And this CCTV camera is right, Niranjan, but the allegation and the entire manipulation of this entire CCTV is what was done by the TMC, which was actually fact checked by Election Commission of India later on. And now you see, if you see, this entire counting center has become a fort, has converted into a fortress. You see, so many security arrangements, so many deployment of the forces. This is only because of the mere allegation of the TMC. Yes, the counting center has to be secured. The preparations are being done, and you see already the deployment has been ensured at the counting center. But such forces deployment at only one counting center, that has happened after yesterday night. Chaos broke out, Niranjan, here only of the mere allegation of TMC of Mamata Banerjee. Let me tell you, Niranjan, that this is just a desperate move of the Mamata Banerjee. Now, very well, there is a demotivation amongst the cadre of the TMC. They very well know that Mamata Banerjee is on edge. They also have their internal report where it is being stated that there's a tough fight between Mamata and Suvendu and anyone can win. This time no one is confident to say that Mamata Banerjee is winning from Bhawanipur constituency. No one is apparently confident about it, and internal reports of TMC itself states that whosoever will be winning, the margin is going to be very less, very low the margin is going to be. And that's the desperation because of which, that's the rattleness of Mamata Banerjee, which drew the Chief Minister straight from her house to the counting center, mobilizing TMC cadre, TMC supporters to reach here on spot, create ruckus and chaos. And it is all post-poll clashes which we are witnessing right now, Niranjan, in the state of West Bengal. And this is going to be much more on the day of the counting and after counting. Back to you.
I want to play out what Mamata Banerjee said. We'll play out what Mamata Banerjee said and the different reactions that are coming in from the BJP. Of course, there's a huge political fight in Bengal. BJP countering Mamata Banerjee as she makes those claims, perhaps nervous. EC also contradicting her. Let's put that graphic out. How the EC responded to Mamata Banerjee. We have a graphical representation of the war of words between the Trinamool Congress and the Election Commission. And the EC has, in a point-by-point counter, has busted that claim. They said there is a CCTV footage that shows, and this is what the AITMC, that is All India Trinamool Congress claimed, AITC or Trinamool Congress claimed, that this is murder of democracy, and that CCTV footage exposes the BJP in active collusion, etc., etc. Typical fake news being pushed by the Trinamool Congress, and they got called out because all political parties were told that postal ballots were being segregated. Perhaps the Trinamool Congress being selective and trying to hide behind selective claims. They've gone completely on the back foot now. Their protest has fizzled out overnight. Here's what Mamata said, and then we'll go across to some more breaking news coming in from other election states. And let's also tell you that in the last almost 12 hours, the Election Commission has issued 3 or 4 press conferences. The TMC claimed EVM tampering, and the Election Commission of India had said that no CCTV cameras were switched off, which was a claim that Trinamool Congress made, that ballot boxes were opened, but none of the CCTV footage actually shows that. CCTV footage shows that the EVMs are intact. And TMC claimed that boxes were opened without candidate or agent, voting agent, polling agent. But a postal ballot strong room, opens only as per rules. These were some of the disclaimers put out. Let's play out what Mamata Banerjee said. Here's what Mamata Banerjee said. Before that, I want to get in some news. As we get you the breaking news update from Bengal, we have some news coming in from Iran. This is big news because we are hearing there is a revolt within Iran's leadership. Now, this was suspected because Arakchi was seen as the face of the talks, the face of the diplomatic reach out. He was seen in Pakistan. He was seen talking to different countries, went to Russia. But reports suggest that there are huge disagreements brewing between Arakchi, Pezeshkian and Galibaf. There is a huge divide. And this divide is between Arakchi, Galibaf and Pezeshkian, as per reports that are emerging from Iran. In fact, let's also tell you that as per the reports coming in, the Iranian officials are seeking to oust Arakchi. They claim he's overly aligned with the Revolutionary Guard chief's stance in negotiations with the United States. And Pezeshkian and Parliament Speaker Galibaf reportedly have accused Arakchi of sidelining them, not acting as a minister representing the government, but rather as an aide to the IRGC commander, Ahmad Wahidi. So there seems to be a divide. And the report comes on the backdrop of serious disagreements among Iran's top officials regarding the positions taken in talks with the US to end the war and make the current ceasefire permanent. The disagreements reportedly relate to whether to agree to discuss Tehran's nuclear program as part of the negotiations. So these are plans. We don't know how deep the divide is, but Major General K.K. Sinha joining us on the broadcast. General Sinha, can they be off point completely on this?
Jahan and good afternoon. Niranjan, the thing in Iran, actually, as far as Arakchi is concerned, it is hit from both the sides. The Pezeshkian, Galibaf, there is one camp, the hardliner IRGC and Ahmad Wahidi. His name is coming that he is too close, but he says that he is too soft. See, Arakchi has been a foreign minister since August 2025. When Ibrahim Riasi was, they had that accident along with the foreign minister in the chopper attack. He actually led the 2015 nuclear deal, JCPOA, that he led, and he's leading this talk again. Now, what is the difference and why this, this is in the news? Iranian International, they have actually broken the story about 11 hours back, but there is no official comment on this as of now. Why I'm saying, Arakchi is in the hit list of IRGC also, and Ahmed Wahidi, because he announced at, alone on 16th of April when the opening of Hormuz, when the IRGC was actually opposing it, and they did it, turned it within 18 hours. This is why IRGC commanders, especially the head Wahidi, feels he is too soft, and he's towing the line with the American, and he's basically dealt with the nuclear deal. He's soft on the nuclear issue. This is their stand. As far the Fajiskan is concerned and Galibab, Fajiskan is there for the economy. Because as on today, 1.8 million rial is $1. One or two egg is costing about 1 million. One burger, is costing 5 million rial. So he wants to have set the economy, and that for doing that, he wants that sanction to be removed. But Galibab is playing a double game. He is also, mind you, he's a speaker. But he has been an IRGC, and in a limited time, in 2.5 years, he became a brigadier general. He has got also a big question mark. His stand is there because in the park, the first talk which took place on 11th and 12th, Galibab was along with him, and both were, blamed for their soft approach for the nuclear thing in the first round of talk. Galibab is playing the game. He is also, siding with Fajiskan so that the whole blame goes to Arakchi. Arakchi, as you brought it out, that he has been to Russia, and also he has been to Pakistan the third time. So Arakchi is also doing, is pushing the things, and he has got a, back experience of nuclear deal of 2015. And that's why he is pushing, but everyone feels it, especially the IRGC commanders, complete rank and file, they feel that he is too soft. So he is hit from both the sides. Let's see. Only chances, of his removal has got, two possibility. If there is an attack by Americans again, then probably he is going to stay on. And I think, the Supreme Commander is going to declare him as, as an IRGC man, because the state media is saying that way. But if there is a deal, probably he will be going to be out, because Fajiskan feels it that, he is not able to, work with him. This is the way it is coming loud and clear in Iran. So my stand is there. We have to wait for first thing for the official comment from the, Iranian International. Basically they are giving the official version of it. If they declare there is a change in the government, probably he will be out. But we have to wait and see that, because he's being hit from both the sides. In my judgment, Arakchi is not doing a good job. I also feel it, because at his standalone mode, he's declaring the Hormuz to be open. I think he is too soft, becomes, as far from IRGC point of view.
Significant, sir. I don't know how true that is. Like we've been waiting for a response from the Iranian regime, but the fact that even the Iranian sections of Iranian media reporting this makes it significant. General Senath, I'd like to thank you at this point, because all our eyes, we just want the war to end. And how is it going to end if there is a rebellion, if everyone is not on the same page, even including inside Iran? Thank you, sir, for joining us on that brief intervention we had from Iran. Okay, breaking news also coming in. Republic Business breaking. Good news in terms of the GST collections, witnessing a big jump. GST collections have seen a huge jump. Integrated GST collections have witnessed a big jump of 12.2%, touching 1.29 lakh crore versus 1.15 lakh last April. Pranav joining us live. Pranav.
And in fact, the integrated GST collection, as you rightly said, has in fact jumped 12.2%. It just shows that it's basically the kind of GST collection that is collected interstate and via export. So it just shows that there is a thriving domestic consumption within the states. There is a thriving, tax base, that increasing tax base. So that's the indication that the integrated GST collection is showing. We are witnessing a massive hike of across the GST collection in terms of the overall GST collection. It has increased to 2.43 lakh crore. That's an 8.7% rise from April last. So just shows that as trade normalizes post Donald Trump's tariffs that were struck down by the US Supreme Court, we are seeing some sort of relief within the domestic economy, and the GST collections are just a reflection of that.
For that, Pranav, with that quick input of the GST collections from Republic Business, taking a short break, ladies and gentlemen, on the live report. We'll take a break, coming back with elections 2026, verdict 2026. We have some news from Tamil Nadu as well. And the big dramatic development in Bengal. Is Mamata anticipating defeat? Pictures, the allegations, the counters coming up. Stay tuned.
$13,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है? आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट, स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा और मसाला।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can just look at the enemy plane through the visor and the missile follows the eyes. This high off-bore sight ability lets the jet attack from strange angles without turning the whole plane first. This upgrade matters a lot because the region stays tense. Pakistan flies JF-17 jets with modern PL-10 missiles that reach farther and lock on quicker. China uses even better systems on its J-20 stealth fighters and other planes. In a real dogfight, the old MiG-29 with R-73 could lose the first shot. With ASRAAM, the Indian pilots get longer reach, faster lock, and higher chance to survive. The missile also works well against low-flying drones that are hard to see on radar. Many experts see drone swarms as the new big threat in air wars, and this upgrade gives the MiG-29 a strong answer. The ASRAAM already proved itself on Indian plains. The Air Force fitted it successfully on the homemade LCA Tejas and the Jaguar fighters. Those tests went smooth, so putting it on the MiG-29 UPG is a natural next step. The request includes new launchers, special tools, testing equipment, and training for ground crews and pilots. Once the work finishes, the whole fleet will get the missiles step by step. This keeps the MiG-29 useful for many more years until newer Indian planes, like more Tejas and the advanced medium combat aircraft, join in big numbers. Upgrading the existing MiG-29 fleet saves huge money compared to buying fresh fighters from abroad. It also shows a smart way of mixing.
Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
Ahead of the West Bengal Assembly election results, the Election Commission reduces the number of vote counting centers from 87 to 77. Drama before counting day, TMC alleges segregation of postal ballots in the presence of BJP agents. EC fact checks. Trinamool says all strong rooms closed and sealed in presence of candidates and observers. Republic accesses letter to all candidates, which has now exposed the claims of TMC. CCTV claims fall flat after ECI's fact check. Is TMC anticipating defeat? Himanta Banerjee extremely nervous. Is TMC anticipating defeat? Himanta Banerjee looks extremely nervous. Supreme Court grants anticipatory bail to Congress leader Pawan Khera in Assam Police FIR. Viewers, we have a big breaking news today coming in from Tamil Nadu as Vijay's as he was visiting a temple, a masjid and a church on the same day, a big secular push before the election results on May 4. And we are seeing as Vijay is trying to secure his popularity now after a good turnout as well in the latest elections that took place. And we see on your screens Vijay there in a church. And that's in a masjid, and we have seen him visiting a temple as well and a church as well. Now I'm joined by my colleague Sharda from the ground, who has been tracking this story. Sharda, we see a very big development coming in from Vijay, a big secular push from his side. He's visiting a temple, a masjid and a church on the same day, just ahead of the election results. So what does this imply for him? We know that he's just foraying into politics, but he is also trying to make some relevance into all the communities of all religions. Is that it?
Very true, Amrita. As you know, Vijay started his campaign 2 months back. He mostly made sure that he was opting towards the minorities, especially the Christian and the Muslim vote banks. So he initially visited the masjid. He also, when he went to Kanyakumari, visited the church. He knelt down, prayed to the Jesus Christ. In the particular church, he walked towards the church in the kneeling position. So now following that, he started his temple visits after the elections happened in the state of Tamil Nadu on 23rd. On 24th, we saw him going to temple Tiruchendur in near Thoothukudi district, and also he went to Sri Reddy Sai Baba temple near Mumbai. So now following that, tomorrow he's expected to go to the Nagapatnam church, which is very famous, the Lady Velangani church in Tamil Nadu. Following that, he's also going to visit the masjid tomorrow. So showing that he's a secular leader following a secular position in even in politics is what Vijay is trying. So this comes after he visited the temple as well. So now portraying himself as a political leader who visits all temples, churches and also the masjid gives the hope to the people that if Vijay is elected to power, he will behave like a secular political leader and not a person who is either supporting the minority or the Hindus who is the majority in the state.
Right, and Sharda, we also knew that yesterday he convened a emergency meeting as well with regards to the upcoming election results. And thanks for joining us, Sharda. Now going back to another big breaking news coming in at this moment as security strong rooms have there have been updates on the security strong room saying that the security around that has been intensified according to the Election Commission of India. A commission official will now be stationed 24/7 in front of these strong rooms, and this role will be handled by the designated officer under the returning officer or any assistant returning officer. And the security will be in charge for entry into the strong room will be strictly controlled, requiring prior authorization from the designated officer. The security have in fact been intensified with the whole drama now unfolding in West Bengal. The existing three-tier security system with the central armed police forces is being strengthened with additional security as well. As of now, we are seeing that there have been a massive deployment of security personnel with both the state police and central forces as well. Additionally, Section 163 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita will be enforced around the strong room to maintain strict order and prevent unlawful assembly. The state chief electoral officer Manoj Kumar Agarwal stated that these measures are aimed at ensuring maximum security and transparency in handling the EVMs ahead of counting day, which is scheduled for May 4th. And we are also seeing huge drama being unfolded in West Bengal regarding the strong room, and we are now seeing that the Election Commission has in fact beefed up the security in the strong room with the state police and central forces now in front of it, with an officer being positioned 24/7 in front of it, checking entry of every official in the strong room where the EVM and postal ballots are being placed ahead of counting to ensure a free and fair counting day. All right, now Bengal remains unpredictable, with the exit polls have been on both ends of the spectrum, and some predicting a BJP sweep in the state with a tightly fought battle. Pollsters have anticipated that the TMC will decisively return to power for a fourth term in a row, and 5 exit polls now predicted that there will be a clean sweep for the BJP. Let's listen in to this breakdown of Republic's editor-in-chief Arnab Goswami's analysis on the exit polls. Take a look.
On the nation's sharpest opinion, I address the big elephant in the room question. Can you believe the exit polls? Well, let me put the data on the table. Can you trust the exit polls? My answer is more often than not, yes, you can. More often than not, yes, you can. If you are trying to look for broad trends, the exit polls are more or less directionally correct most of the time. Nobody, I repeat, nobody is claiming that exit polls are surgically precise. But do exit polls tell you broadly who is going to win? I think on more occasions than not they do. I have with me, for example, 7 examples of big exit polls getting the elections right from 2009 Lok Sabha to 2025 Bihar Assembly polls. 2009 Lok Sabha, 3 got it correct. 2014 Lok Sabha, all 6 got it correct. I remember I was in Times Now then. I mean, I founded Times Now. It's a channel I started from scratch. I'm not responsible for how it is right now, but we got it right. 2019 Lok Sabha, 6 out of 8 agencies got it right. Most recently, 2021 Tamil Nadu election, because it's a complicated election to predict, all of them got it right. 2021 Assam, for example, Access My India predicted NDA 75 to 85, NDA won exactly 75. So when someone tells you that exit polls cannot be trusted at all, I want you to remember these numbers. I want you to remember that 9 out of 9 in Bihar got it right. I want you to remember 6 out of 6 in 2014. I want you to remember what the data actually says. Yes, sometimes exit polls get it wrong too. Let me give 3 examples of when they get it wrong. Directionally also they get it wrong. 2021 Bengal. Jan Ki Baat, some at that time predicted BJP victory, predicted TMC crash. Jan Ki Baat got it completely wrong. Completely wrong. We'd also published their numbers. Access My India predicted 134 to 160, completely wrong. C Voter got it completely wrong. So no poll came within 24 seats of the actual result. 2024 Haryana, so many got it wrong. Matrise got it wrong, Red Mike, P Mark, whatever, all got it wrong. The direction was wrong. 2024 Lok Sabha, that's where the biggest mistakes happened. It was a nightmare. Everybody overestimated the NDA. The actual result, the BJP only got 240. The direction on the winner was right. NDA did win, but the scale was catastrophically wrong by over 100 seats. So yes, polls have been wrong as well. I'm not hiding that. But what I'm asking you is this, that how many times were they right versus how many times they were wrong? The fact is, exit polls, if you look at it, there is a survey done which says on 16 occasions they're roughly correct on 7, wrong on 4. Directionally, they are more or less right. So if you want to look at a directional sense of the result, you will get it now through the exit polls. Now, one point I want to make on Bengal. I want to spend a moment on today's Chanakya. In 2021, today's Chanakya exit poll was the closest pollster to the actual result. Closest to the actual result, right? And today's Chanakya, Jan Ki Baat got it terribly wrong. Very, very bad poll they did. They gave 160 to 185. But on the other hand, today's Chanakya placed TMC at 180 seats. TMC won 215. The same pollster that gave them 180 seats and were the closest to their numbers in 2021 are saying in 2026 that the BJP could get about 190 on an average in a range of 181 to 203. So today's Chanakya is predicting a big TMC win in 2021 which happened, is predicting this cycle in 2026 has changed and is saying the ground strength of the Trinamool is gone and the BJP is sweeping Bengal. If the TMC wants to look at it, the only pollster that had got it right for them in 2021 has predicted that they are completely out of the game in 2026. But one point also, people have been asking me personally, who will win? Will it be 50-50? Viewers, the political world in India is not 50-50 anymore. Mandates are decisive. And this changes everything about the way we are reading exit polls. When was the last time, for example, in a major state in India, you had a genuine 50-50 contest? A result where neither side would know who would win until the very last seat, a hung assembly situation. A result where even the exit polls say too close to call. It doesn't happen, ladies and gentlemen. 2019 Haryana was the last true hung assembly. BJP 40, Congress 31, JJP 10 in a 90-seat house. Since then, we are not seeing hung verdicts. No hung verdict in Maharashtra. NDA won 235 out of 288. Haryana 2024, BJP won 48 seats, comfortable win. Bihar 2025, NDA won 202 out of 243 seats. Delhi 2025, BJP, which was down and out, won 48 out of 70 seats in a remarkable comeback. So one point you must keep in mind, that elections are complex, decisions of the people are difficult to decipher, but broadly it would not be wrong to say that as of today, the era of shaky, middle of the road, 50-50 verdicts is over. So one point to repeat once again, more or less exit polls are directionally right. My question for May 4th is not whether the polls are right in that direction. The question is whether the scale of the victory will be more than what has been predicted. I do not believe in hung verdicts anymore. Of course, we can be corrected if that's what the people want. But hung verdicts don't really happen. After this, if you want to have trust on the exit polls, it's your choice, but you can't disregard them either.
Now taking a short break, but don't go anywhere because we have more stories lined up for you on the other side as the ECI fact-checks TMC's claim of EVM tampering, says strong room sealed in front of observers. And ahead of the West Bengal Assembly election results, the Election Commission reduces the number of vote counting centers from 87 to 77 about 2 weeks ago. The number of centers were reduced from 108 to 87.
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
Character, the taste of success.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा सिम, MDH का जलजीरा जीरा सिम।
जीरा सिप, असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the advanced short-range air-to-air missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can just look at the enemy plane through the visor and the missile follows the eyes. This high off-bore sight ability lets the jet attack from strange angles without turning the whole plane first. This upgrade matters a lot because the region stays tense. Pakistan flies JF-17 jets with modern PL-10 missiles that reach farther and lock on quicker. China uses even better systems on its J-20 stealth fighters and other planes. In a real dogfight, the old MiG-29 with R-73 could lose the first shot. With ASRAAM, the Indian pilots get longer reach, faster lock, and higher chance to survive. The missile also works well against low-flying drones that are hard to see on radar. Many experts see drone swarms as the new big threat in air wars, and this upgrade gives the MiG-29 a strong answer. The ASRAAM already proved itself on Indian planes. The Air Force fitted it successfully on the homemade LCA Tejas and the Jaguar fighters. Those tests went smooth, so putting it on the MiG-29 UPG is a natural next step. The request includes new launchers, special tools, testing equipment, and training for ground crews and pilots.
Now, welcome back, and let's move on to another story. Now, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has found himself at the center of a heated congressional showdown over the ongoing Iran war, as lawmakers have clashed during a nearly 6-hour-long hearing in Washington. The hearing turned combative, with Democratic lawmakers questioning the cause, justification, and the strategy of the war, which they describe as an expensive war of choice launched without full congressional approval. Let's take a look at the full report.
U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth sparred with Democratic lawmakers over the Iran war during a nearly 6-hour-long hearing. During the hearing, it was revealed that American operations had cost the country $25 billion so far.
Thank you for that question. So approximately at this day, we're spending about $25 billion on Operation Epic Fury. Most of that is in munitions. There's part of that is obviously O&M and equipment replacement. We will formulate a supplemental through the White House that will come to Congress once we have a full assessment of the cost of the conflict.
Hegseth, who faced questions under oath for the first time since the war started, appeared on Wednesday before the House Armed Services Committee.
Secretary Hegseth, you have been lying to the American public about this war from day one, and so has the President. You have misled the public about why we are at war. You and the President have offered ever-changing reasons for this war. You've misled the public about the progress of the war. While the military has executed this war with tactical success, the strategy has been an astounding incompetence.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth defended the war to lawmakers amid skepticism from some Democrats on the committee about the rationale for going to war and the toll it's taken on U.S. readiness.
Given up their nuclear ambitions, and they had a conventional shield of thousands of Operation.
Democrats on the committee often characterize the U.S. military action in Iran as an expensive war of choice that had been waged without the approval of Congress.
Unfortunately, as I said yesterday, and I'll say it again today, the biggest adversary we face at this point are the reckless naysayers and defeatist words of congressional Democrats and some Republicans. Defeatists from the cheap seats who 2 months in seek to undermine the incredible efforts that have been undertaken and the historic nature of taking on a 47-year threat.
Many Republicans on the committee were largely supportive of the Pentagon, with Congressman Carlos Gimenez of Florida saying he believed Iran was an existential threat to the US. The often combative hearing also discussed the international economic ramifications of the war, such as the rise in global oil prices and its knock-on impacts for the price of other goods. Some lawmakers also demanded accountability for an airstrike on a school in Minab, Iran, early in the conflict that killed nearly 110 children.
Now, viewers, slipping into a short break, but we'll be right back with more stories for you lined up on the other side as ECI fact-checks TMC's claim of EVM tampering, says strong room is sealed in front of observers. Ahead of the West Bengal Assembly election results, the Election Commission reduces the number of vote counting centers from 87 to 77. About 2 weeks ago, the number of centers was reduced from 108 to 87.
$13,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can...
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
The top headlines we're tracking right now. Ahead of West Bengal Assembly election results, the Election Commission reduces number of vote counting centers from 87 to 77. No drama before counting day. TMC alleges segregation of postal ballots in the presence of BJP agents. EC fact checks. TMC says all strong rooms closed and sealed in presence of candidates and observer. Republic accesses a letter to all the candidates which have now exposed the claims of TMC. CCTV claims fall flat after Election Commission's fact check. Is TMC anticipating defeat? Mamata Banerjee extremely nervous. The Supreme Court grants anticipatory bail to Congress leader Pawan Khera in the Assam Police FIR. All right, viewers, getting you some updates coming in. I'm Shivangi Shukla. A very good afternoon. India's largest state-run refiner, Indian Oil Corporation, has raised the prices of LPG. That is right. LPG has raised the prices of LPG, viewers, used by industries and jet fuel for foreign airlines from Friday onwards. The company has said this in a statement. The statement is out on this matter. Jet fuel and industrial LPG prices are going up. So foreign air travel will become more expensive for you. Foreign air travel will become more expensive for you, viewers. The price of a 19-kilogram commercial LPG cylinder for industrial clients was hiked by 993 rupees or 47.8% to around 3,071.5 rupees. The refiner has said this. Aviation turbine fuel prices for international airlines raised by $76 per kiloliter to $1,511 per kiloliter. That is right, viewers. So we're getting these updates coming in. what this essentially means and try to go across to a Republic business desk as well to help us understand and break down what are the implications of this price rise. But definitely foreign air travel will get more expensive. Let's go straight across to my colleague Pranav joining us live from Republic Business. Yes, Pranav, what does this really mean? You know, does this mean that the prices are rising for those who want to travel abroad? How much of a price rise are they looking at right now, Pranav?
Well, there is a good news as well as a bad news. The good news is that so far consumer LPG prices have not been hiked. So that's the silver lining on this entire decision. But as far as commercial LPG prices are concerned, they've been increased, as you rightly said. That's to 993 per cylinder, which makes it about 307 per cylinder, a 19 kg cylinder in Delhi. So commercial prices have been hiked. Whether restaurants decide to pass on those hikes to the consumers remains to be seen. So it is too early to say whether consumers will be directly affected by that. As far as the ATF is concerned, we need to actually wait and watch. In a similar case, in fact, whether the airlines actually pass on those costs to the final tickets and consumers. It is only after that we will be able to comment on how much the consumers are likely to get affected and whether the air ticket prices will actually go up. The impact, the underlying reasons behind this are obviously the rising oil prices. As you've seen, the international market oil prices have hit about $120 a barrel because of the uncertainty in Hormuz. So we're seeing that play out right now. But yes, commercial prices hiked, domestic cylinder prices still not affected so much. This is the second hike over the past 2 months. So yes, that's the latest as far as oil prices impacting the Indian, the LPG or the energy requirements is concerned.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you for getting those details, Pranav. I'll be coming back to you for more on this story. We're getting some more updates coming in. From what we understand, several people fell into the water after a cruise boat sank in Jabalpur's Bargi Dam. So this is an update coming in, and 4 bodies have been recovered from what we understand so far, and 22 individuals have been safely rescued. Now, the latest that we're getting for you are these pictures from that incident which has taken place. So 4 bodies have been recovered so far. 22 individuals have been safely rescued. The NDRF and SDRF. Okay, let's go to Satya Vijay is joining us. Satya Vijay, rescue operations
रेस्क्यू के लिए वो
remain underway.
जल्द क्यों नहीं पहुंची, ये वो सवाल हैं जिनके जवाब अब तक नहीं आए। हालांकि बार-बार जो स्थानीय नेताओं से लेकर कैबिनेट मंत्री से लेकर डिप्टी सीएम जगदीश देवड़ा तक जो हैं वो कह रहे हैं कि जांच के निर्देश दे दिए हैं, टीम गठित कर दी है, जल्द ही कठोर कार्रवाई भी सुनिश्चित की जाएगी जिनकी लापरवाही होगी उनके खिलाफ। लेकिन पूरा घटनाक्रम काफी दुखद है।
Okay, Satya Vijay is joining us live from the boat mishap, and we will try to go across to him. These are exclusive pictures that we are getting on the frame of what exactly happened, but many are still missing as well, viewers. The tragedy has unfolded there. We'll try to go back to Satya Vijay to help us understand what happened, but many people fell into the water after the cruise boat sank in Jabalpur's Bargi Dam. 4 bodies have been recovered.
सवाल किया कि आखिर जब मौसम खराब था इसके बाद भी इसे चलाने की अनुमति क्यों दी गई, तो इस पर लापरवाही मानते हैं, तो इस पर उन्होंने कहीं ना कहीं इस जवाब देने से बचते नजर आए। उन्होंने कहा कि लापरवाही बाद में देखेंगे, पहले हमारी प्राथमिकता है कि रेस्क्यू हो जाए। फिर हमने उनसे पूछा कि लाइफ जैकेट क्यों लोगों को नहीं पहनी थी, इसके लिए क्यों नहीं बोला गया, तो इस पर भी वो बहुत कुछ बोलते। तो ये जो तमाम तस्वीरें हैं, ये जो सर आपसे जानना चाहेंगे, आपने लोगों को बचाया इसमें उनके बारे में। चलिए, तो चूंकि जो रेस्क्यू में मौजूद लोग हैं वो बहुत फिलहाल बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, लेकिन हमने यहाँ पर जितने जनप्रतिनिधि हैं उनसे भी बात की। धर्मेंद्र जी जो पर्यटन मंत्री उनसे बात की, उनके जवाब हालांकि संतोषजनक नहीं थे क्योंकि उनका यही कहना था जांच के आदेश दे दिए हैं। हमने उनसे सीधे पूछा कि लापरवाही मानते हैं, तो उनका कहना था ये जांच के बाद तय होगा। 9 लोगों की मौत हो चुकी है, 9 डेड बॉडियां यहाँ पर निकल चुकी हैं, ये क्रूज मौत का क्रूज साबित हो चुका है। कई और डेड बॉडी हो सकता है इसमें से निकले क्योंकि 6 लोग अभी भी मिसिंग है। इसके बाद भी हर घटनाक्रम में जिस तरह के जवाब सरकार दोहराते हैं, उसी तरह का जवाब इस घटनाक्रम में भी सामने आ रहा है कि जिन जांच के आदेश दे दिए हैं, जो लापरवाह जिसकी तय होगी उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई की जाएगी। लेकिन जो लोग देश भर से यहाँ इस बरगी डैम में लोग पर्यटन आते हैं, घूमने आते हैं, उनके
All right. Okay, we are getting these updates coming in from Satya Vijay live from Jabalpur, and just telling you what exactly happened. This is a tragedy, a very terrifying moment when this cruise boat flipped over at Jabalpur Dam mid-ride. Some people have lost their lives. This is a big loss coming in. The cruise boat was capsized in a reservoir at Bargi Dam, leaving many people missing, and 22 people have been rescued so far. So all the efforts are underway. The rescue operations are underway to find those who are missing and to conduct the rescue operations. So around 43 people were on board, including the captain and 2 crew members, when this boat was caught in a very, very sudden storm triggered by an abrupt weather change. Then the high velocity winds caused the boat to lose control and overturn in the reservoir. My colleague Satya Vijay is on the spot. We'll again go back to him because he's reporting live for us. But these are some of the pictures, exclusive pictures we're getting from Jabalpur, and the rescue operations which have been pressed into action to find all those who are missing. Remember, a large chunk of the passengers on that boat are still missing. And let's move ahead, viewers, and we'll get to all that's happening in West Bengal, because remember that May 4th is not too far away. Let's get to the latest coming in as we count down to the counting of votes. Okay, let's tell you what's happening in West Bengal. There's been high drama, which has been reported. A tight security is in place at Netaji Indoor Stadium, which has been converted into a strong room to safely store EVM. Still counting of votes begins on May 4th. Barricades have been placed in front of the entrance gate. The BJP candidate from Kharagpur, Dilip Ghosh, says the loser always complains. Earlier we were on the back foot and these people, TMC, were in power. This time the people of West Bengal have voted in large numbers, which shows that change is happening. TMC is on the back foot and hence these people are complaining.
हारने वाला कंप्लेन करता है। पहले हम लोग करते थे कि हम बैकफुट में होते थे, वो लोग सत्ता में होते थे, निश्चित जीतते थे, क्योंकि इतना फॉल्स वोटिंग होता था। अब वो गया पहले। आज लोगों ने जिस प्रकार बढ़ चढ़ के वोटिंग किया है, उससे पता चल गया परिवर्तन हो रहा है। इसलिए टीएमसी बैकफुट में है और कंप्लेन पर कंप्लेन करे जा रहे हैं। हर चीज़ पे कंप्लेन है। अब से एसआईआर से लेकर सेंट्रल फोर्स, चुनाव कमीशन, अभी स्ट्रांग रूम में जाकर राजनीति ममता बनर्जी बैठी हुई है। इसका क्या है? परिस्थिति ठीक नहीं उनके लिए।
In the West Bengal elections, another BJP worker says they, TMC, will put duplicate machines and tamper with them. What is the vehicle of TMC doing outside the counting centre?
ये डुप्लीकेट मशीनें घुसा के टेम्परिंग करेंगे। ये कौन सी जगह है? कौन सी जगह है? एक जगह शेखावत स्कूल ये काउंटिंग एजेंट है। काउंटिंग सेंटर के बाद टीएमसी का गाड़ी क्या करेगा?
Viewers, so all eyes are on May 4th and the exit polls have come out with some numbers. Now, as we count down to the polls, the numbers from Assam, Kerala, Puducherry, West Bengal, we are seeing a close contest ahead of the May 4th results. Now, high voter turnout, including 92% in Bengal and over 84% in Tamil Nadu, has now added to the contest. And there's a lot of questions about leadership, about outcomes. However, we see that the past trends are also throwing in some caution. Let's take a look at this report as we tell you the latest coming in.
2026 Assembly elections in West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Assam, Kerala and Puducherry, focusing on exit poll predictions for winners, next CMs, seat shares and trends after West Bengal's second phase voting on April 29. It notes high voter turnouts, 92% in West Bengal's first phase despite violence and 84% in Tamil Nadu.
देखिए एक क्या गुंडाराज चल रहा है, देश को बेच दिया। ऐसे वोट कभी होता है? ऐसे कभी वोट नहीं होता है। वोट शांति से होता है। लोकतंत्र डेमोक्रेसी का फेस्टिवल होता है, लेकिन ये तो लोकतंत्र को पूरा बालोटा बजा दिया, पूरा इसको एट्रोसिटीज कर दिया।
क्या कर रहा है ये? अरे छोड़ और कौन क्या कर रहा है ये?
With results due May 4 and reflects on 2021 exit polls' mixed accuracy, correctly forecasting BJP's Assam win and DMK's Tamil Nadu victory, but overestimating BJP in West Bengal, where TMC triumphed.
Okay, we're getting some updates coming in, viewers. Now, there has been the release of a video. This is a video. The clearest video of the Trump shooter has emerged. So we'll just put that out for you. Okay, there you go. That is on your screens. This is the U.S. federal prosecutors releasing a video showing Cole Thomas Allen running through censor gates, firing at a policeman as he rushes towards a ballroom where President Trump was attending the April 25th White House Correspondents' Dinner for the first time in his 2 terms. And this video has been posted amid questions over whose bullet struck the Secret Service officer as Allen ran towards a ballroom that had over 2,000 attendees, including scores of Trump officials. Let's go to Shivam. Shivam, yes, tell us, what does this video really say? Shivam.
Yeah, this is the latest video. As you can very well see, he was trying to enter. While it's important to highlight that the body check security arrangements were being in place, were being installed while he made use of the opportunity. So the attacker had done recce of the hotel, because we all must remember the very fact that he already had checked in the hotel. He was there in the hotel since the day before. So he was residing in the hotel for a long time to inspect. He also went to the gym of the hotel. Now, it is a dramatic moment where you can see him sprinting, running out, trying to enter, because his plans were to assassinate Donald Trump. Now, that's what the claims are. Now, while there was a setup being made of the body search, installations were being made, he rushed in and he also allegedly fired a shot at the security agent. Now, it's also being told, now this was confirmed on that day also, that thanks to the bulletproof vest that the security agent was wearing, he tried to shoot because he was carrying a shotgun with him, and he shot at the security agent, and also he got a return fire in response, because there were many security personnel at the place. The FBI, the Secret Service agents were also there, and then he fell over the ground. Allegedly, he fell over the ground and he was taken over, and then the arrest took place. Now, this is the latest video, the latest set of video that has been released now as per the Post also. All right, now let's go to Leh, where Union Home Minister Amit Shah is speaking. Let's cut across to that now.
यहाँ के लोगों ने कोऑपरेटिव और ऐसे नए एवेन्यूज को भी स्वीकारना पड़ेगा, तभी जाकर हम काम को आगे बढ़ा सकें। और अभी लद्दाख का बजट 6,000 करोड़ हो चुका है, जो पहले जब जम्मू कश्मीर में था तब 1,000 था। 1,000 करोड़ रुपया खर्च होता था, इसकी जगह 6,000 करोड़ रुपया भारत सरकार आज खर्च कर रही है। और सिंधु इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट कॉरपोरेशन की स्थापना की है हमने, जो औद्योगिक विकास के लिए आने वाले दिनों में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान करने वाला है। हम चाहते हैं कि ये सीमांत प्रदेश आत्मनिर्भर बने, और मैं तो धन्यवादी हूं लेह, लद्दाख और कारगिल के बाशिंदों का। भारत पर जब जब इस सीमा से संकट आया, सेना बाद में पहुंची, पहले लद्दाख वालों ने अपने सीने पर गोली खाई है और देश की रचना की। भारत स्काउट का इतिहास कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी और द्वारका से लेकर कामाख्या तक पूरा देश जानता है। लद्दाख वालों की देशभक्ति, देश की सुरक्षा और ये बहुत बड़े भूभाग की भारत के साथ जुड़े रहने की तत्परता, ये हमेशा भारत का हर नागरिक इसका प्रशंसा भी करता है और भूरी भूरी प्रशंसा कर कर आपके प्रति कृतज्ञ भी है। आज मैं बहुत समय के बाद 7 साल के बाद लद्दाख आया हूं और बुद्ध पूर्णिमा के दिन आया हूं। मेरा फिर से आग्रह है, भगवान बुद्ध के पवित्र अवशेषों को हम सब दर्शन करें और उनसे मिलने वाली आध्यात्मिक ऊर्जा से अपने जीवन में प्रकाश का पथराव करें। यही मेरी आप सबसे निवेदन है। आप सभी को फिर से एक बार बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं।
And we're getting these updates coming in. Home Minister Amit Shah is speaking there in Ladakh. We'll get our viewers more updates coming in on Republic. Let's move ahead to some of the other stories that we are tracking here on Republic TV. We'll put our focus on what is happening in West Bengal. We're counting down to the West Bengal result day. That's May 4th. Let's see the top developments coming in. The top updates that we're tracking for you from West Bengal. On West Bengal, CM Himanta Banerjee's statement, BJP leader Saeed Shehnawaz Hussain says whoever is going to lose the election looks for excuses for the defeat in advance. Himanta Banerjee has already lost the election. All the exit polls are showing that TMC has been wiped out, but she is still doing drama.
जो चुनाव हारने वाला होता है वो हार के बहाने पहले ही तलाश रहा है। ममता बनर्जी चुनाव हार चुकी हैं। सारे एग्जिट पोल बता रहे हैं कि टीएमसी का बड़ा साफ हो गया है। टीएमसी के नेताओं को पैकिंग करनी चाहिए। वो जाके अभी भी ड्रामा कर रही हैं। स्ट्रांग रूम पर जाके ड्रामा करना, धरना देना, क्योंकि वो बाद की कहानी लिख रही हैं। उनको लग रहा है कि जब चुनाव हारेंगे तो बाद में क्या क्या इल्ज़ाम लगाना है, इसलिए इस तरह का काम कर रही हैं। ये बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। जब वो सत्ता में आई तो बीजेपी जब नहीं जीती थी उसने स्वीकार किया था। अब ममता जी को अपनी हार स्वीकार कर लेनी चाहिए। 4 तारीख के बाद कोई ड्रामा चलने वाला नहीं है। वो स्ट्रांग रूम के सामने जो ड्रामा किया है वो दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है।
And Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who arrived in Ladakh's Leh, along with Ladakh LG VK Saxena, attends a cultural program organized on the occasion of Buddha Purnima, offers prayers before the sacred relics. We're getting all these updates coming in as Amit Shah is also offering prayers before the sacred relics of Lord Buddha on the occasion of Buddha Purnima. The Jabalpur cruise boat tragedy, Chief Medical and Health Officer of Jabalpur says that 24 people who have been rescued are giving proper treatment. Unfortunately, 9 people have lost their lives in that incident. All right, viewers, let's move ahead. In fact, let's talk a little bit more about West Bengal. We've covered all the stories we have been tracking so far. However, in West Bengal, we saw high drama with Mamata Banerjee once again making claims of EVM tampering. And she said that she saw some CCTV footage, and that's why she had to come down to Bhawanipur to have a look at what is happening there. Now, the Election Commission has rubbished all the claims of the TMC as the TMC continues a sit-in protest saying that there has been manipulation. Take a look at this report.
High drama ensued in Kolkata on Thursday, a day after the polling concluded in Bengal assembly polls, after TMC claimed that the BJP and the Election Commission were attempting to open postal ballots in the absence of party representatives. Hours after the Trinamool Congress leaders alleged that EC and BJP were opening the ballot boxes, Bengal Chief Electoral Officer Manoj Agrawal dismissed the allegations, explaining the cameras will capture such activities. The poll body's response came after Mamata Banerjee's TMC shared a CCTV footage on social media alleging tampering of ballots. Rejecting TMC claims, the Election Commission said that there is no controversy related to strong rooms and all the rules and regulations are being followed. Bengal CEO Manoj Agrawal also said all parties were informed about the segregation process. EC also reiterated that all the preparations and security are in place. EC also clarified that the final strong room was sealed around 5:15 a.m. on Thursday and stressed that all EVM storage areas remained locked and untouched. They also said that the activity shown in CCTV footage involved postal ballot segregation in a separate facility, including electronically transmitted postal ballot system and not access to sealed EVM rooms. West Bengal Chief Electoral Officer Manoj Kumar Agarwal also clarified that live footage from the facilities was made available to all political parties. The development comes a day after the final phase of polling in West Bengal and ahead of the vote counting scheduled for May 4.
Taking a short break, viewers, do not go anywhere. Republic has accessed a letter to all candidates which exposes TMC's claims. And CCTV claims fall flat after Election Commission's fact check. Stay tuned, viewers. We are live and breaking.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा और प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट।
अब बताओ, स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. the Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can just look at the enemy plane through the visor and the missile follows the eyes. This high off-bore sight ability lets the jet attack from strange angles without turning the whole plane first. This upgrade matters a lot because the region stays tense. Pakistan flies JF-17 jets with modern PL-10 missiles that reach farther and lock on quicker. China uses even better systems on its J-20 stealth fighters and other planes. In a real dogfight, the old MiG-29 with R-73 could lose the first shot. With ASRAAM, the Indian pilots get longer reach, faster lock, and higher chance to survive. The missile also works well against low-flying drones that are hard to see on radar. Many experts see drone swarms as the new big threat in air wars, and this upgrade gives the MiG-29 a strong answer. The ASRAAM already proved itself on Indian planes. The Air Force fitted it successfully on the homemade LCA Tejas and the Jaguar fighters. Those tests went smooth, so putting it on the MiG-29 UPG is a natural next step. The request includes new launchers, special tools, testing equipment, and training for ground crews and pilots. Once the work finishes, the whole...
And to take a short break, viewers, do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Republic has accessed a letter to all the candidates, which is now challenging and exposing the claims of the TMC. As CCTV claims fall flat after the Election Commission's fact check.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MDH का जल जीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग असली स्वाद असली मजा
MDH
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added
Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
Ahead of the West Bengal Assembly election results, the Election Commission reduces the number of vote counting centres from 87 to 77. And drama before counting day, TMC alleges segregation of postal ballots in the presence of BJP agents. Election Commission fact-checks Trinamool, says all strong rooms closed and sealed in presence of candidates and observer. And Republic accesses letter to all candidates, which has now exposed the claims of TMC. And CCTV claims fall flat after ECI's fact-check. And is TMC anticipating defeat? Mamata Banerjee seems extremely nervous. Supreme Court grants anticipatory bail to Congress leader Pawan Khera in Assam Police FIR. All right, viewers, now after the headlines, let's go to a big breaking news development which we are getting from Bengal. Security at strong rooms has been further intensified. More intensified, according to the Election Commission of India. Now, a commission official will now be stationed 24/7 in front of the strong room. Now, this role will be handled by a designated officer under the RO, that is the returning officer, or assistant returning officer, and ARO. Now, entry into the strong room will be strictly controlled, requiring prior authorization from the designated officer. At the existing three-tier security system with CAPF, that is the Central Armed Police Forces, is being strengthened with additional deployment. All right, we have Kishle with us for more details in the story. Kishle, now the security has been further intensified. Additionally, Section 163 of the BNS, that is the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, will be enforced around the strong room. What more details, Kishle?
Well, we saw CEO Manoj Agarwal had spoken to the media yesterday in the night after Mamata Banerjee stormed in many of these counting centres, especially Sakhawat Memorial School, and there were allegations that the Election Commission is helping the BJP in order to manipulate the EVMs. That was the allegation by the TMC. Later on, the Election Commission clarified about this. Now, right now, it has been ensured that all these counting centres, about 77 of these counting centres are there in West Bengal. The numbers have been reduced from 87 to 77 now. Now, in all these 77 strong rooms and counting centres, there'll be three-layered security. So all these strong rooms has been covered by 3 layers of security. The first layer comprising of the central forces, the second layer again of the state police, and the third layer again of the central forces. So this is the type of security measure that has been taken. On the other hand, that designated election commission officers and returning officers will be stationed outside these strong rooms 24/7, and also they will be stationed at the counting centers where counting will happen on 4th. So both the strong rooms and the counting centers are being it's being ensured that all these places are completely surrounded by central forces, state police officers and police officers from other states, as well as election officials who have been given extra responsibilities not only to conduct the elections but also to take care of the security situations inside and outside the strong rooms as well as the counting centers. We know that there has been a heated argument between the TMC and the BJP over the security of the strong rooms. The TMC yesterday alleged, and Mamata Banerjee herself came to the strong room in order to see the security system. Kunal Ghosh and Shashi Paja came to the North Kolkata strong room where they alleged that some movements are happening inside the strong room, after which the Election Commission held a press conference in order to clear things up. But later on, Mamata Banerjee again alleged that there might be attempts by the Election Commission and the BJP in a coercive way to manipulate with the EVMs. So she directed her party members to stay outside the EVMs or outside the strong rooms all night. On the other hand, both the strong rooms and the counting centers have been completely covered with central forces and police forces by the Election Commission, and three-tier security system has been enforced.
All right, thanks a lot for the details now. Kishle, thanks a lot for the update on the story now. This comes after Mamata Banerjee stormed the strong room last night, alleging foul play, a clear indication that the TMC is anticipating defeat. Now, BJP has now slammed TMC. Now, we also spoke to Praveen Khandelwal in exclusive conversation. Let's listen to that.
First of all, the allegations are totally false and baseless, because Mamata Banerjee has come to know very strongly that she is losing West Bengal. Therefore, the cause of defeat or the responsibility of the defeat should not devolve upon her shoulders. That is why she is creating a false narrative of tampering and all that, what all she has said yesterday. She has become a habitual complainter now. We all know that wherever the machines have been kept are closely guarded by the forces, as also the video cameras have also been put there. So there cannot be any tampering at all by anybody. In spite of knowing all these things, if Mamata Banerjee is doing such a political drama, that clearly shows that she is losing the ground miserably.
Sir, we are just a few days away from the final verdict in West Bengal, a long political haul, not just for BJP but also for other political parties campaigning in West Bengal. Now, these are some serious allegations that are put by TMC and Mamata Banerjee on a constitutional body. Election Commission of India, however, have clarified in this regard. Now, this coming from a chief minister of a state, how do you see that?
Well, we have just few days before, we have seen the comments made by Honorable Supreme Court when Mamata Banerjee tried to intervene in the investigations carried out by some government agency. In this same fashion, now she is targeting every constitutional authority in one way or the other. Whereas the Election Commission has already clarified everything. And in democracy, if you have any grudge or any complaint, you have all kind of avenues with you. Still, the counting is yet to take place. But Mamata Banerjee and her party colleagues are creating an environment where they could level baseless charges of tampering the machine or casting reflections on impartiality of the Election Commission. And this is not the first time. every time, not only Mamata Banerjee, but any political party in a position, if they lose the battle, then the easy target becomes the EVM and the election commission. And of course, the BJP, because under the dynamic and visionary leadership of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, the people are reposing their utter faith in his leadership. That is why these political parties in opposition are not only making...
To cover that up, she is doing all this. Now, what will she say after she loses election? Well, she has to say that, oh, the events were tampered or there was some rigging in the election. I mean, that's all she can do now. But fact is that everything is on board and everyone has access. Only thing which happened, which I've seen on the TV channels, is that, and as per the election commission, that it was the postal ballot which was segregated, for which notification was being sent in advance to each political party that at 4 o'clock it will happen. And it's a very mandatory process. There's nothing unusual, and it was not happening in the strong room. It was in another room which was happening. And again, that all was under CCTV camera. But as there's a panic of losing election, that's why she's doing all this drama and theatre now.
Sir, she is also alleged that the CCTV cameras were shut down and the people enter without any permission in the strong rooms.
If she has any proof for that, she should show it to the election commission, and she has all the right to go to the court. They have gone to the court also. Court has again rejected the plea. But fact is that as I know that there is no CCTV cameras which are switched off, and the CCTV cameras are there outside the strong rooms also, where the agents of the political parties are there, and they keep watching that cameras also. It is all just because she is losing election, and then she is trying to create some sort of alibi for what her loss now, because what will she say after losing election? So she is building up for that now.
देखो, रहने के लिए तो हर पार्टी का व्यक्ति नियुक्त होता है. हर पार्टी में स्ट्रांग रूम पर रहने के लिए हर पार्टी के एक व्यक्ति को नियुक्त किया जाता है चुनाव आयोग के द्वारा. लेकिन आप वहां भी जाना चाहती हैं जो आपका क्षेत्र नहीं है. कल तो आपने वहाँ के चुनाव आयोग के सीईओ का प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस भी सुना होगा, आपके जहाँ चला भी है. सच्चाई ये है कि ये बेचैनी है. मुझे तो ये लग रहा है कि ये पहले से भी कुछ गड़बड़ी करते होंगे स्ट्रांग रूम में, तो वही करने पहुँचे होंगे, पकड़ में आ गए तो धरने पे बैठ गए. बाद में उनको अपने चुनाव आयोग के लोगों ने समझाया बुझाया, कहीं कहीं कुटाए भी लोग हैं. तो भाई व्यवस्था से अब आप नहीं लड़ पाओगे. पश्चिम बंगाल की जनता डिसाइड कर चुकी है, और जो भी रिजल्ट खुलेगा उसके आधार पर रिजल्ट का इंतजार करो. हमें रिजल्ट भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पक्ष में आता हुआ दिख रहा है.
Well, it appears now Bengal remains unpredictable. The exit polls have been on both ends of the spectrum, with some predicting a BJP sweep while the others predicting a tightly fought battle. Now, two pollsters anticipated that the TMC will decisively return to power for a fourth term in a row, while 5 exit polls predicted that the BJP would breach Mamata Banerjee's Bengal fort, which the party called its final frontier. Watch this report.
On the nation's sharpest opinion, I address the big elephant in the room question. Can you believe the exit polls? Well, let me put the data on the table. Can you trust the exit polls? My answer is more often than not, yes you can. More often than not, yes you can. If you are trying to look for broad trends, the exit polls are more or less directionally correct most of the time. Nobody, I repeat, nobody is claiming that exit polls are surgically precise. But do exit polls tell you broadly who is going to win? I think on more occasions than not they do. I have with me, for example, 7 examples of big exit polls getting the elections right, from 2009 Lok Sabha to 2025 Bihar Assembly polls. 2009 Lok Sabha, 3 got it correct. 2014 Lok Sabha, all 6 got it correct. I remember I was in Times Now then. I mean, I founded Times Now. It's a channel I started from scratch. I'm not responsible for how it is right now, but we got it right. 2019 Lok Sabha, 6 out of 8 agencies got it right. Most recently, 2021 Tamil Nadu election, because it's a complicated election to predict, all of them got it right. 2021 Assam, for example, Access My India predicted NDA 75 to 85, NDA won exactly 75. So when someone tells you that exit polls cannot be trusted at all, I want you to remember these numbers. I want you to remember that 9 out of 9 in Bihar got it right. I want you to remember 6 out of 6 in 2014. I want you to remember what the data actually says. Yes, sometimes exit polls get it wrong too. Let me give 3 examples of when they get it wrong. Directionally also they get it wrong. 2021 Bengal. Jan Ki Baat, some at that time predicted BJP victory, predicted TMC crash. Jan Ki Baat got it completely wrong. Completely wrong. We'd also published their numbers. Access My India predicted 134 to 160, completely wrong. C Voter got it completely wrong. So no poll came within 24 seats of the actual result. 2024 Haryana, so many got it wrong. Matrise got it wrong, Red Mike, P Mark, whatever, all got it wrong. The direction was wrong. 2024 Lok Sabha, that's where the biggest mistakes happened. It was a nightmare. Everybody overestimated the NDA. The actual result, the BJP only got 240. The direction on the winner was right. NDA did win, but the scale was catastrophically wrong by over 100 seats. So yes, polls have been wrong as well. I'm not hiding that. But what I'm asking you is this, that how many times were they right versus how many times they were wrong? The fact is, exit polls, if you look at it, there is a survey done which says on 16 occasions, they're roughly correct on 7, wrong on 4. Directionally, they are more or less right. So if you want to look at a directional sense of the result, you will get it now through the exit polls. Now, one point I want to make on Bengal. I want to spend a moment on today's Chanakya. In 2021, today's Chanakya exit poll was the closest pollster to the actual result. Closest to the actual result, right? And today's Chanakya, Jan Ki Baat got it terribly wrong. Very, very bad poll they did. They gave 160 to 185. But on the other hand, today's Chanakya placed TMC at 180 seats. TMC won 215. The same pollster that gave them 180 seats and were the closest to their numbers in 2021 are saying in 2026 that the BJP could get about 190 on an average in a range of 181 to 203. So today's Chanakya is predicting a big TMC win in 2021 which happened, is predicting this cycle in 2026 has changed and is saying the ground strength of the Trinamool is gone and the BJP is sweeping Bengal. If the TMC wants to look at it, the only pollster that had got it right for them in 2021 has predicted that they are completely out of the game in 2026. But one point also, people have been asking me personally, who will win? Will it be 50-50? Viewers, the political world in India is not 50-50 anymore. Mandates are decisive. And this changes everything about the way we are reading exit polls. When was the last time, for example, in a major state in India, you had a genuine 50-50 contest? A result where neither side would know who would win until the very last seat, a hung assembly situation. A result where even the exit polls say too close to call. It doesn't happen, ladies and gentlemen. 2019 Haryana was the last true hung assembly. BJP 40, Congress 31, JJP 10 in a 90-seat house. Since then, we are not seeing hung verdicts. No hung verdict in Maharashtra. NDA won 235 out of 288. Haryana 2024, BJP won 48 seats. Comfortable win. Bihar 2025, NDA won 202 out of 243 seats. Delhi 2025, BJP, which was down and out, won 48 out of 70 seats in a remarkable comeback. So one point you must keep in mind, that elections are complex. Decisions of the people are difficult to decipher, but broadly it would not be wrong to say that as of today, the era of shaky, middle of the road, 50-50 verdicts is over. So one point to repeat once again, more or less exit polls are directionally right. My question for May 4th is not whether the polls are right in that direction. The question is whether the scale of the victory will be more than what has been predicted. I do not believe in hung verdicts anymore. Of course, we can be corrected if that's what the people want. But hung verdicts don't really happen. After this, if you want to have trust on the exit polls, it's your choice, but you can't disregard them either.
All right, viewers, let's move on to another big breaking news development which we are getting from Kolkata now. Prohibitory orders clamped by Kolkata police at 7 counting centres in Kolkata. Now, these are prohibitory orders imposed outside the Bhavanipur counting centre and EVM strong room. Big development coming in from Shekhawat Memorial Girls High School. And a huge cordon of Kolkata police officials and paramilitary forces laid outside the centre. Big development coming in from West Bengal. All right, Kishle is live with us for more details on the story. Kishle, if you can put this into perspective, prohibitory orders imposed outside the Bhavanipur counting centre, Kishle.
Well, exactly after yesterday, Mamata Banerjee stormed the counting centre and strong room, and we saw TMC-BJP clashes outside. Today, prohibitory orders have been issued, and also Section 163 of the BNS have been enforced in that particular area. Whole area has been cordoned off by extra forces, and no one except the ones with ID cards are allowed to enter inside the premises. So, extra orders and special precautions are being taken right now.
Is it just till Bhavanipur? All right, these are the details. Kolkata police and paramilitary forces outside counting centre. All right, viewers, now it's time to slip into a short commercial break, but don't go anywhere because there's a lot more lined up after a break. Coming up next, Supreme Court grants anticipatory bail to Congress leader Pawan Khera in Assam Police FIR. Also coming up ahead of the West Bengal Assembly election results, the Election Commission reduces the number of vote counting centres from 87 to 77.
"13,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला। AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी। The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the advanced short-range air-to-air missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can just look at the enemy plane through the visor and the missile follows the eyes. This high
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट
क्या बात है स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और बरसात अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट
बनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा और प्योर मसाला।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े।
चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े। असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
Character, the taste of success.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach target.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
ECI shuts down Mamata's claims on poll manipulation regarding strong rooms, states no CCTVs were turned off, as Mamata started a drama after sensing a defeat. Republic scoop confirmed as ECI officially decided to reduce the number of counting rooms in Bengal from 87 to 77. TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee threatens Amit Shah, uses words like coward, gunda, alleges centre misusing agencies against TMC before elections. Now, as exit polls predict BJP sweep in Bengal, panic inside Bangladesh with MP Akhtar Hossain saying that a new BJP government would push all illegal Bangladeshis back across the border. CEO of Zoho terms TVK chief Vijay's political rise as remarkable, says the Vijay phenomenon is in Tamil Nadu should not be dismissed. And Republic's big scoop on AIA, DMK and TVK talks as TVK General Secretary confirms on record that no alliance talks have been held with the AIA, DMK. A very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching Republic TV. This is Shivam Dutt Mehta. Let's begin with the big breaking news that we are getting from Pakistan. Now, this is yet again a reality check for pro-Pak brigade in India. Now, this is Pak Minister who says that only 5 to 7 days of crude supplies remain. Now, Pakistan Minister says that we are not like India, which has a 60 to 70 day reserves. The Pakistani minister praises India's handling post the Iran conflict, post the Iran war. So this is a reality check for all the pro-Pak brigade who reside in India. This is a Pakistani minister who confirms that there's only 5 to 7 day crude supplies remaining with Pakistan in Pakistan. Just imagine the kind of scene, the scenario inside Pakistan with only less than a week supply of crude remaining for the entire population. The Pakistan minister went on to claim that we are not like India, which they never have been and never will be. And he went on to say that India has 60 to 70 days of reserves. We have more, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Pakistan minister praises India's handling post the Iran war. Now, this is Pakistan, who was trying to become a peacemaker between US and Iran, and both the talks failed because this is a failed state called Pakistan, and this is a clear example of what a failed state looks like. They do not have reserves more than for 5 to 7 days, though they claim to be close to Iran and close to United States of America, but they do not have enough crude supplies. Their supplies are not more than for 5 to 7 days for the entire population. The Pakistani minister went on to speak truth, praising India like they should, and he said that India's handling is better after the Iran war, during the Iran-US war. Big development coming in from Pakistan, a reality check for all the pro-Pakistanis who reside in India, giving a reality check on how better was India's handling during the war between Iran and US, and because the Strait of Hormuz was choked and there was less movement of oil tankers and vessels from the Strait of Hormuz, which is very critical for India and around the globe. Now, this is coming from Pakistan. A reality check for pro-Pakistani brigade in India. Pak minister says only 5 to 7 day crude supplies remaining with Pakistan. Now, Pakistan minister says we are not like India, which has 60 to 70 day of reserves. I believe we also have the reaction, if we can play it, but let's going back to the breaking big development. Pakistan minister praises India's handling post the Iran war. He's praising India's position and India's stance and how India handles difficult situations, which you can clearly understand by the reality. Yeah, Pakistan only has 5 to 7 days of crude supplies remaining for their entire population. This getting confirmed by a Pakistani minister, which is a big slap for the Pakistani administrator. All right, we also have the reaction of the Pakistani minister. Let's first listen to that.
All right, we'll just play the bite in a short while, but it's a very big check, a very big reality check for all the pro-Pakistani brigade who reside in India, who live in India. This is a Pakistani minister inside Pakistan and claiming that they only have 5 to 7 days of crude supplies remaining with them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, crude is not just important for cars and motorcycles, it's also important for industries. Now, you can imagine what will happen in Pakistan after 5 to 7 days, 4, 5, 7 days, and there will be chaos, there will be havoc. And this is Pakistani minister who is claiming that we are not like India, which has more than 60 to 70 days of reserves. We have more, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Pakistani minister is praising India's handling of the post-Iran war. Post the Iran war, the war between Iran and US, there are already tensions between Iran and US. Things have not sorted till now. The prices of oil have shot up globally. The prices of gas prices have also shot up, risen dramatically because of the Strait of Hormuz, because it continues to remain choked. And this is a reaction which is coming in from Pakistan by a Pakistani minister. So it becomes official, a tight slap on the Pakistani administration, a tight slap on General Asim Munir's face, who went on to champion the cause of becoming a peacemaker. And 2 times the talks have failed in Pakistan. Twice the talks failed in a failed state called Pakistan. In Islamabad, the talks, the negotiations which were supposed to happen between Iran and US, and now they are facing an oil crisis. Now they're facing a crisis, a shortage of crude supplies for more than, they only have 5 to 7 days of crude supplies left. Let's listen in to what the Pakistani minister said.
हमारे पास तो कोई ऑयल रिजर्व नहीं, हम तो कमर्शियल रिजर्व्स पे चलते हैं। हम तो कमर्शियल रिजर्व्स पे
हमारे पास ऑयल रिजर्व्स नहीं है।
हमारे पास स्ट्रेटेजिक रिजर्व, हुकूमत के रिजर्व नहीं है। हमारे पास या रिफाइनरियों को लाइसेंस के तकाजे के मुताबिक वो क्रूड रखते हैं, या सर क्रूड जो होता है वो 5-7 दिन का होता है, और उसके बाद जो आपका जो OMCs के पास रिफाइंड प्रोडक्ट होती है वो 20-21 दिन की होती है। तो कंबाइंड आप लाइसेंसिंग एंड कानून और इस गवर्नेंस रिजीम के मुताबिक उनको चला रहे थे। हम इंडिया की तरह नहीं है कि $60-70 मेरे पास 70 दिन का रिजर्व मेरे पास अपने पेन की एक सिग्नेचर के साथ मैं उसको रिलीज कर सकता हूं।
देयर इज नो स्ट्रेटेजिक रिजर्व।
एब्सोल्युटली नॉट। ये आज क्या कहते हैं, यही तो मैंने आपको बता रहा हूं कि लोगों को अंदाजा नहीं है कि ये क्राइसिस के अंदर हमने,
दैट इज द रियल क्राइसिस।
जी,
डू यू हैव एनी प्लान्स टू बिल्ड दैट?
एब्सोल्युटली। अब हमने उसके ऊपर।
All right, viewers, we have another big breaking news development. Now, this is the TVK office burnt down by unknown persons overnight. Big development here. Now, TVK office in Trichy East targeted ahead of the results. Now, there is a video. We'll also play the video. The video shows Vijay's Trichy East TVK office being set ablaze. Now, Vijay is also contesting from Perambur and Trichy East. And just imagine the scenario where unknown people, unknown persons, overnight have burnt down the office of TVK. The TVK office in Trichy East targeted ahead of the results. Now, the exit polls have also predicted a very good performance by the party of Vijay, that is the TVK. The exit polls have predicted good numbers. Now, let's go to Sharda, to our correspondent, for more details on this story. A big development happening, Sharda. TVK office being burned down by unknown persons in Trichy East. What more details, Sharda? Over to you.
Well, the visuals are now surrounding in the social media saying that the Trichy East TVK office has been burned down by unknown men. The police are investigating into the case to find who these unknown men, who vandalized this particular office. This comes after TVK set up a makeshift temporary office in Trichy East after the exit polls were given on the 29th after the elections were done in all 5 states. This comes, the office was built after the exit poll showed TVK leading in multiple constituencies, including Trichy East, where Vijay is contesting from. The office was burned down last night, so over midnight, the CCTV shows that the office being burned down, but however, the investigation is not led to whether it was done due an electrical fault or whether it was due to some men burning the office down. So the investigation is underway. The TVK has already asked the police to investigate whether it is the ruling DMK that has burned down the office. making sure that the TVK office is not set up. And they're also constantly pointing out the huge claim being made by the TVK that the DMK cadres, the DMK functionaries in Trichy East did not agree to the office being set up there initially, because the TVK being a great, becoming a great party, become a big enemy for the DMK apart from the AIADMK, which is in the state. So the party office being burned down comes as a big claim from the officials saying whether it was burned down, which is a technical fault or an electrical fault, or whether it was some miscreants who vandalized the party office. Likely that an FIR would be filed after the investigation is completed, Shivam.
Also, but Sharda, this is happening after the exit polls have predicted very good numbers for a party which has just come to the forefront, a debutant party. Now, if you can clearly explain the kind of negotiations which were happening on a formation of an alliance, because TVK has not agreed to either DMK or AIADMK. Now, this happens after the exit polls and also when no finalization has taken place on alliance talks. Details on that too, Sharda.
Well, very true. The TVK did not agree for an alliance earlier and even now as well. While NDA earlier had approached the actor-turned politician Vijay for an alliance, he mainly clearly stated that it is BJP the ideological enemy, so he cannot be in alliance with them. Right now, the AIADMK and the TVK both have spoken to Republic and revealed that there is no coalition, there's no alliance talks going on between the two parties. For Vijay's TVK, though they are making a political debut in the 2026 elections for the first time, party to get at least 25% of vote share in the exit poll shows that the party has been widely accepted by the people of Tamil Nadu. This could also show the anti-incumbency of the DMK in the state and the second opposition, AIADMK, not to seem deemed fit for ruling the state next time. And Vijay's party has taken at least 40% of votes that should have gone for the AIADMK according to the statistics. So we know that Vijay's party is being widely accepted by the people. Over the time, we'll know after the May 4th results whether there'll be a hung assembly and whether in that case AIADMK and TVK would initiate the talks to have an alliance or not.
All right, any reactions which has come from TVK officials, from TVK cadre or the leaders from TVK on their office being burned down? Are they pointing fingers towards some political party or towards the DMK to be particular?
Well, the TVK cadres in Trichy East, when complaining to the police, mentioned that the DMK functionaries were not happy with the TVK office being set up. So directly did not mention that the DMK is involved in the action, but pointed out that there might be an underhand dealing of the DMK. So only after the investigation would it be finalized whether if the opposition, the ruling, the opposition or any other political enemies of the TVK had any hand in the office being burned down in Trichy.
All right, so this is the TVK office which was set on fire. If you can tell more about the office, Sharda, was it a makeshift office or it was a newly made, and there were objections, as you highlighted, by the DMK in this regard?
Well, it's a makeshift temporary office that is being built by the TVK. They have building office in all the constituencies. If you see Paramount also, Vijay, where he contested from, there was a temporary office built for the cadres to work from. This is to make sure that the constituency work is done properly, and these temporary offices will hold on the members and the functionaries of the party who are working for the constituencies. This comes in time, especially in Paramount before the elections happen, while the assembly constituencies campaigns was going on. It was built, while in Trichy East it was built after the exit polls. As we see, TVK is getting a huge number, of vote share policy as well, in numbers, leading the AIADMK as well. So in that case, TVK is getting itself prepared in all the constituencies where they are going to be winning, likely to be winning candidates are setting up offices. While many have permanent offices in districts as well, Trichy East did not have a TVK office, and the party was temporarily set up in that place just for the election. So following the election results is when the TVK, if gaining upper hand in the Trichy, would have built their own district office. So now this was the temporary office of the TVK there.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Sharda, for all the details. Now, the TVK will go on claim that these are signs that we are winning with big numbers. Thanks a lot, Sharda. All right, viewers, now exit polls for the 2026 Assembly elections in West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Assam, Kerala and Puducherry hint at close contests ahead of the May 4 results. Now, high voter turnout, including 92% in Bengal and over 84% in Tamil Nadu, has added to the suspense around seat shares and leadership outcomes. However, past trends raise caution. In 2021, exit polls got Assam and Tamil Nadu right, but misread West Bengal, where TMC won big. Now, with that in mind, all eyes are now on whether these predictions hold or another surprise awaits. Watch this report.
2026 Assembly elections in West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Assam, Kerala and Puducherry focusing on exit poll predictions for winners, next CMs, seat shares and trends after West Bengal's second phase voting on April 29. It notes high voter turnouts, 92% in West Bengal's first phase despite violence and 84% in Tamil Nadu.
देखिए एक क्या गुंडाराज चल रहा है, देश को बेच दिया। ऐसे वोट कभी होता है? ऐसे कभी वोट नहीं होता है। वोट शांति से होता है। लोकतंत्र डेमोक्रेसी का फेस्टिवल होता है, लेकिन ये तो लोकतंत्र को पूरा बालोटा बजा दिया, पूरा इसको एट्रोसिटीज कर दिया। क्या कर रहा है ये? क्या कर रहा है ये?
With results due May 4 and reflects on 2021 exit polls' mixed accuracy, correctly forecasting BJP's Assam win and DMK's Tamil Nadu victory, but overestimating BJP in West Bengal, where TMC triumphed.
Well, viewers, now let's move on to another top story. Now, West Bengal minister and TMC candidate from Shampur Assembly seat, Shashi Panja, says that there has been a very serious lapse in the election process. Now, she said that in camera number 17, we saw that there were people in the strong room who were actually sealed by our agents. Now, if you are opening that door, you should have informed all the political parties. Let's watch that.
Very serious loopholes. You see, on the cameras, on camera number 17, we noticed that there were certain people inside these strong rooms which were actually sealed by our agents. They're all in one room, and then obviously there is a door to the room. Now, if you're opening that door, all political parties need to be told about this. Now they're mentioning, yesterday they mentioned that they had sent an email. Now, whatever email, if somebody had responded, we wouldn't have said anything. None of the political party, cutting across all political lines, nobody was present. If nobody was present, then why did you open that particular room and, take in your officers, whoever, to do that postal ballot job? And what job it is? Why is the political party not apprised about it? The moment we noticed activity, human activity out there, obviously it is quite a panicky kind of a situation where you can see ballots, pink envelopes. It's visible. So we registered a process. So there are glaring loopholes. One is that that particular room was opened without any political party representative being present. Secondly, we are not apprised that this kind of a activity of postal ballots, etc., will take place. Now, if postal ballots are also being aggregated or, settled into different districts because they have to go to the districts for counting, why was no political representative present for that? I mean, how can that be? A political representative has to be present when that aggregation, disaggregation is being done. Nothing. So what's wrong? Now, yesterday they were saying, yes, there has been a gap. Unofficially, they have told us that, yes, there is a gap and miscommunication. Yes, there is a lack of transparency, but in the press conference, it was not evident. They did not, concede to those loopholes which were there.
All right, viewers, now it's time for a short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. We have a lot more lined up after a short break. Coming up next, Republic Scoop confirmed as ECI officially decided to reduce the number of counting rooms in Bengal from 87 to 77. Also coming up, TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee threatens Amit Shah, uses words like coward, gunda, alleges centre misusing agencies against TMC during elections.
$13,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर मसाला।
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that M changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies
On West Bengal, CM Mamata Banerjee's statement, BJP leader said Shahnawaz Hussain says whoever is going to lose the election looks for excuses for the defeat in advance. Mamata Banerjee has already lost the election. All the exit polls are showing that TMC has been wiped out, but she is still doing drama.
जो चुनाव हारने वाला होता है वो हार के बहाने पहले ही तलाश रहा है। ममता बनर्जी चुनाव हार चुकी हैं। सारे एग्जिट पोल बता रहे हैं कि टीएमसी का बड़ा साफ हो गया है। टीएमसी के नेताओं को पैकिंग करनी चाहिए। वो जाके अभी भी ड्रामा कर रही हैं। स्ट्रांग रूम पर जाके ड्रामा करना, धरना देना, क्योंकि वो बाद की कहानी लिख रही हैं। उनको लग रहा है कि जब चुनाव हारेंगे तो बाद में क्या क्या इल्ज़ाम लगाना, इसलिए इस तरह का काम कर रही हैं। ये बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। जब वो सत्ता में आई तो बीजेपी जब नहीं जीती थी उसने स्वीकार।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who arrived in Ladakh's Leh on Thursday, along with Ladakh LG VK Saxena, attends a cultural program organized on the occasion of Buddha Purnima and offers prayers before the sacred relics of Lord Buddha on the occasion of Buddha Purnima. In the Jabalpur cruise boat tragedy, Chief Medical and Health Officer CMHO of Jabalpur says that 24 people who have been rescued are being given proper treatment. Unfortunately, 9 people have lost their lives in the incident.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा सबका राजा और प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से MDH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can just look at the enemy plane through the visor and the missile follows the eyes. This high off-bore 10 missiles that reach farther and lock on quicker. China uses even better systems on its J-20 stealth fighters and other planes. In a real dogfight, the old MiG-29 with R-73 could lose the first shot. With ASRAAM, the Indian pilots
ECI shuts down Mamta's claims on poll manipulation regarding strong rooms, states no CCTVs were turned off, as Mamta started her drama after sensing a defeat. Republic scoop confirmed as ECI officially decided to reduce the number of counting rooms in Bengal from 87 to 77. TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee threatens Amit Shah, uses words like coward, gunda, alleges centre misusing agencies. against TMC before elections. As exit polls predict BJP's sweep in Bengal, panic inside Bangladesh with MP Akhtar Hussain saying that a new BJP government will push all illegal Bangladeshis back across the border. CEO of Zoho turns TVK Vijay's political rise is remarkable, says the Vijay phenomena in Tamil Nadu should not be dismissed. Republic's big scoop on AIADMK and TVK talks as TVK General Secretary confirms on record that no alliance talks have been held with the AIADMK. Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Republic TV. I'm Gesu Bharadwaj. And starting first with a breaking development now, BJP claims that Punjab's Chief Minister arrived drunk in the assembly. Now, BJP says that Punjab's Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann arrived at the temple of democracy completely drunk. The Punjab Legislative Assembly, while he arrived there, he was completely intoxicated with alcohol. He was under the influence of alcohol. That's what the BJP has been alleging. They also say, in fact, they've questioned, and I'm quoting them here, how can a man who is only ever away from alcohol during sleep possibly run Punjab? So a huge allegation by the BJP unit in Punjab against Punjab's Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann. The BJP alleges that the Chief Minister is an alcoholic, and not just that, he also showed up to the floor of the assembly completely drunk. In fact, they say that Chief Minister Mann should undergo an alcohol test, and if found guilty, he should be removed from the Chief Minister's seat. A big allegation that's coming in from the Bharatiya Janata Party against the Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann. Now, BJP says that Bhagwant Mann arrived drunk in the Punjab Assembly, and in fact they've also said that the only time that the Chief Minister of Punjab is not drunk is during his sleep. Otherwise he's always intoxicated and under the influence of alcohol. BJP in fact also questions how can he continue being the Chief Minister. In fact, we're getting in another breaking development. Repolling is possible on across 30 booths in Falta in West Bengal. That's a huge breaking development that comes in. Now, the Election Commission of India claims that repolling could be possible across 30 booths in Falta. Remember, this comes after various incidents of EVMs being fiddled with came to light from Falta in the second phase of elections in West Bengal on the 29th of April. And after careful consideration, now reports say that a repolling can be made possible across 30 booths in Falta and other areas in West Bengal. Remember, the BJP also alleged that in fact their mark was being covered by tapes across various election booths, across various polling booths, and now a possibility of repolling across 30 booths in Falta. Joining me on the broadcast is my colleague Harsha to get us more details. Harsha, now we're getting in fresh developments that 30 booths could possibly head into a repoll. What are the more details that you can get for us?
Yes, Gesu, you rightly said, because that's the recent update we have got from the Election Commission of India. We spoke to CEO Manoj Agarwal and we have got this update that in Falta, there will be repolling in the 30 booths. Remember, Gesu, we spoke on that day. I was live from Falta. We were continuously reporting how booth number 252, 256, 183, 253 and 220 as well. There were so many polling booths where the WhatsApp reported from, where the issue of tampering, EVM tampering was reported. The voters who went inside, they clearly stated that there was a sellotape. There was sellotape which was pasted on the ballot button of BJP, and the voters who went inside, they were able to see the button of the BJP. And when the candidate himself went inside, he spoke about this to the presiding officer. And now what we've got to know that the webcasting and CCTV image of several polling booths in Falta is not available. Falta is that place, Gesu, where we have
have seen the stronghold of TMC and Jahangir Khan as well, who earlier threatened the officer Ajay Sharma as well. So now what we are learning is that the special officer went to Diamond Harbour, he went to Falta, they visited, and the report has been submitted to Election Commission of India regarding the repolling, which has to be conducted not only in Falta but different polling booths in Diamond Harbour and Magrahat West as well. But in Falta there are almost 30 booths whose webcasting and the inside images of the polling booth is not available. That raises a lot of serious questions regarding the security and safety of the booths, and that's the reason we have got to know, Gesu, that there will be repolling in the 30 booths of the Falta, which is the biggest breaking update which we are learning right now from the Election Commission.
Right, Harsha. Harsha, in fact, like you pointed out, on the day of the polling also, the second phase polling on the 29th, you remember this incident came to light where, BJP's stamps were BJP's mark on the EVM were being taped across various polling booths, and that was happening especially in Falta. And right after a few moments, the ECI said that in case these allegations are true, these are the visuals of the BJP's mark being taped, and ECI said that in case of these allegations turning out to be true, a repolling could be made possible. Now, in fact, repolling will be done as a huge process of repeating the polling, so voters will have to come back to their booths once again to exercise their franchise, and this will have to happen before the 4th of May so that these votes can again be counted and finally the results can be out on D-Day. In fact, Harsha continues being with us on the broadcast. Harsha, we had this conversation that day also. ECI said that there will be a possibility of a repolling, but today we learned that across 30 booths repolling can take place. That's a huge number. Speak to us about more details that you can get us in the matter, Harsha.
Yes, Kesu, we saw on that day where there was a sellotape which was pasted on the BJP ballot button, and from that day only Manoj Agarwal himself told about it, and Suvendu Adhikari also spoke about it and stated that he has informed and spoken to HM about the Falta situation. The election machinery also took cognizance from Delhi to West Bengal, cognizance of the Falta issue, that how there was sellotape. There was also the sprinkling of ether or perfume on the ballot button of the other parties as well. So as the TMC supporters were ensuring that the voters have voted for TMC or not, all these allegations were levelled, and straight it was told to Election Commission of India. Manoj Agarwal on that day only have told to all our reporters that if needed, we'll call for the CCTV footage, we will check with webcasting and monitoring, and if we found that there was the issue with the EVM VVPAT machine, then the repolling will take place. He assured to each and every voter. So that day the voting continued. However, it was continuing. The sellotape was removed after the complaints were received. But yes, repolling is important. Gesu, repolling is important because the information of the sellotape and tape on the button came in the afternoon. Before that, from 7 o'clock till 1 o'clock, the more than 30-40% of the voting had happened. So imagine how so many voters who went inside to vote for a particular party, but they couldn't vote because of the sellotape being put on the ballot button, and that is the reason why the repolling has been proposed, and we are expecting, Gesu, that the repolling will take place on 2nd of May. 2nd of May, most likely tomorrow only. If the decision is taken today, then most likely the repolling will take place tomorrow only, so as the strong room, so the same votes can be sealed in the strong room, can be sent for 2 days before the counting, which is very important. So ECI has to plan each and everything based on the booths, based on the security as well. But the repolling for sure, Gesu, is happening in the Falta because maximum number of EVM tampering cases were reporting from the Falta constituency in Diamond Harbour. Back to you.
No doubt. In fact, Harsha, also speak to us about, other forms of incidents that unfolded in Falta and across West Bengal, across various other booths. In fact, the bottles of attar being kept over the BJP's mark, all of that, the orchestration of these stunts by, the TMC or even the poll observers who were put in place. In fact, there were also reports that spoke about how, inside polling booths, there were people from the opposition, there were opposition workers who were sitting inside, they were heckling people. In fact, Suvendu Adhikari, the leader of opposition, became one such example. He was the Exhibit A, where he was being heckled and not being allowed to vote freely or fearlessly. recently. So speak to us about those incidents also, because if, you know, we might remind our viewers also, we must remind them that on the day of the second phase polling, Harsha, especially you were in these areas, the stronghold TMC areas. You looked at everything that was ongoing on ground, not just on the 29th, but also the 23rd, where in fact your mic was also being snatched and you were also at the verge of being heckled by the TMC members. So speak to us about collation of these incidents also, how, you know, disruption was taking place across polling booths. And just to remind our viewers, at least 30 polling booths are up for repolling by the Election Commission of India, specifically in West Bengal's Falta. So Harsha, take it ahead.
So, yes, 23rd and 29th, both the days, we were on the verge of the verge of being heckled. On 23rd, we were heckled almost. My cameraman was pushed, he was beaten. Our camera LED was also, broken by the goons, by the supporters of the TMC. On 23rd, at some places, violence took place. Let's say 6 or 7 places where the violence took place in Malda, Murshidabad, Birbhum, and certain places. But to tell you, on 29th, on second phase, which is the stronghold of TMC tried a lot to disrupt, to create unrest during the polling time. But Gesu, because of adequate amount of security personnel deployed each and everywhere, 20-25 3-layer security inside and outside the polling center, the violence couldn't happen. Okay, so we didn't report anything about violence in Diamond Harbour, which has the history of immense violence, where we have seen people getting, people getting kidnapped, they thrashed, injury, missing people being reported. Those we have covered in Diamond Harbour, but this time mainly reports were of EVM tampering. So the desperate move of Mamata Banerjee, the desperate move of the TMC, when they can't resort to violence in the second phase, which is a stronghold of TMC, they resorted to EVM tampering. They thought that the places which are the stronghold of TMC, strongholds where the minority population is in majority, in those places what was thought, the EVM tampering, the tampering with the VVPAT machine was done, sellotape were put up by TMC candidate, because they very well know that here BJP candidate will be thrashed if he tries to enter the polling booth. Here nothing will go out. We will have a setting with the BTO and the agents and everyone inside and outside. That was the attempt, but this attempt seems to fail now, with the Election Commission of India taking cognizance and repolling, which has been proposed in 30 booths in Falta. That gives a lot of impression and message and sense about the overall situation in West Bengal for the second phase, where many major places in Diamond Harbour, we have got 4 booths which will go for repolling. In Margaret West, we have got 11 booths which will go for repolling. So these are the places where repolling is needed, because these all are in Diamond Harbour region, the place where majorly EVM tampering was done by TMC candidates themselves, so as to not grab attention through violence, which they were not able to do, but through tampering the machine, so that voters couldn't have an option to vote other than TMC party. Back to you.
Right, Harsha. In fact, continue being with us. We're also getting in some more breaking developments. But before we move to that, just to give you a sense of what's happening in West Bengal, viewers. Now, take a look at the visual that's on your screen. Taping of EVM machines that was carried out during 29th of April, the second phase of West Bengal elections. These cases came from across polling booths in Falta. In fact, the first time around that this was pointed out was by Falta's BJP candidate himself, who was going around taking cognizance of whether or not polling is going smoothly, freely or fearlessly across booths in West Bengal. And the BJP then went on to flag this with the Election Commission of India. And on the 29th, the Election Commission of India said that if these cases turn out to be true, in case they are able to verify the claims that are being made by BJP over the EVM being mishandled and being tampered with, then a repolling will come out as a possibility for a few polling booths in Falta, specifically in West Bengal. And now today, the ECI says that there is a possibility of 30 booths in Falta going up for a repolling. Now remember, this repolling, this process of people going back to their booths and exercising their franchise once again from the scratch will have to take place before the 4th of May. In fact, like my colleague Harsha also said, who continues being on the ground in West Bengal, she said that, you know, since the decision has been taken today, by tomorrow, after all verifications are through, after the processes are replanned, the repolling should begin tomorrow, which is on the 2nd of May. And then finally, the D-Day, the 4th of May, the results will be out, not just for West Bengal, but also Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, Assam. And before the D-Day, the repolling must take place, and 30 booths in Falta are under question. Remember, that day we only got to know of a few incidents, but turns out over the days the ECI has realized that this happened. These heckling and this fiddling of EVM took place across 30 booths in Falta. In fact, viewers, quickly shifting focus to another breaking development that we're getting in. Union Minister Sukanta Majumdar says Mamta Banerjee is rattled, and now she has sensed that she is not only losing Bhawanipur but also the state of West Bengal, and this furiousness led to yesterday night's incident. The TMC is behaving like a typical opposition party. In fact, listen in to Sukanta Majumdar.
यूनियन मिनिस्टर सुकांता मजूमदार इस वक्त हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। मिस्टर मजूमदार, जिस तरह से कल रात की घटना सामने आई, काउंटिंग सेंटर के बाहर ममता बनर्जी खुद पहुंची, खुद स्ट्रांग रूम के अंदर गई, और लगातार टीएमसी का जो एलिगेशन है सीआरपीएफ को लेकर, पैरा फोर्सेस को लेकर के, डिलीशन कोएशन को लेकर के, इसको बीजेपी कैसे देखती?
देखिए, मुझे लगता है कि ममता बनर्जी कल से ही विरोधी मोड में चली गई हैं। उनको भी पता चल गया है कि बीजेपी की सरकार होने वाली है, और इसलिए ये धरना प्रदर्शन जो विरोधियों का काम होता है, विरोधी पार्टी में जो रहते हैं, बीजेपी ने बहुत धरना प्रदर्शन किया। और जो एलिगेशंस हम पहले लगाते थे, हम डरते थे कि ईवीएम का चेंज ना हो जाए, तृणमूल कांग्रेस ऐसे करने में वो माहिर है वहाँ पे, तो स्वाभाविक रूप से वो उस तरीके की एलिगेशंस आज ममता बनर्जी और उनकी पार्टी के लोग लगा रहे हैं, जो दर्शाता है कि ममता बनर्जी भी अंदर से मान चुकी है कि उनकी पार्टी जाने वाली है, उनकी सरकार जाने वाली है, और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार आने वाली है।
क्या आपको लगता है कि चीफ मिनिस्टर बहुत रैटल्ड हो गई हैं, बहुत डेस्परेट हो गई हैं? लेकिन उन्होंने एक वीडियो मैसेज भी जारी किया था जिसमें उन्होंने कहा अपने कार्यकर्ताओं को कि घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है, एग्जिट पोल सारे प्लान सारे एग्जिट पोल खरीदे हुए हैं और सरकार ममता बनर्जी ही बना रही हैं।
देखिए, सुबह ममता बनर्जी ने अपने कार्यकर्ताओं को जोश और कॉन्फिडेंस बनाए रखने के लिए इस तरीके की बयान उन्होंने जारी किया, वीडियो जारी किया। लेकिन शाम तक आते आते देखिए, अंदर का टेंशन तो बाहर थोड़ी रुका जा सकता है, सब तो नहीं रख सकते। तो उसी टेंशन के कारण अंदर जो टेंशन हो रहा था उनका, वो बाहर आ गया शाम आते आते, और कॉन्फिडेंस जो सुबह इतनी ऊपर थी, वो कॉन्फिडेंस यहाँ तक आ गई। और उनको भी अंदर भी पता है ना कि बीजेपी की सरकार होने जा रही है, इसलिए डर के मारे वो धरने प्रदर्शन पे बैठ गई, ऑपोजिशन का जो रोल होता है। तो मुझे लगता है कि टीएमसी ने खुद मान लिया है कि वो ऑपोजिशन में बैठने वाली है, और इसीलिए ऑपोजिशन मोड ही ऑन करके रखी है।
जिस तरह की फोर्सेस की तैनाती काउंटिंग सेंटर पर की गई है शेखावट गर्ल्स हाई स्कूल के बाहर, उसके अलावा भी 87 पोलिंग काउंटिंग सेंटर्स थे, उनको कम करके 77 काउंटिंग सेंटर कर दिया है। ओवरऑल पोस्ट पोल वायलेंस की बहुत बात कही जा रही है, इसलिए कहा जा रहा है 3 लेयर सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस का डिप्लॉयमेंट काउंटिंग सेंटर्स पर किया गया है। ये अरेंजमेंट को आप कैसे देखते हैं? आप मानते हैं कि इस बार जो वायलेंस है वो पहले से भी ज्यादा होने वाला है?
देखिए, वायलेंस बंगाल के राजनीति में हमेशा सही रहा है, स्पेशली जब से लेफ्ट यहाँ पे एक्टिविटी शुरू किया था। उसके बाद टीएमसी ने उसको चरम सीमा पर टीएमसी ने लेके गया वायलेंस को। और इस बार जिस तरीके से इलेक्शन कमीशन ने वोट को हैंडल किया है, उसको देखते हुए मुझे लगता है कि अगर इस तरीके की व्यवस्था रही नए सरकार बनने तक, यानी भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने तक, तो कोई पोस्ट पोल वायलेंस ज़्यादा नहीं हो पाएगा, और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार भी सेंट्रल फोर्सेस की हेल्प लेकर जो पोस्ट पोल वायलेंस होगा उसको रोकने की कोशिश करेंगे, और रोक के दिखाएंगे इसको।
बीजेपी की क्या तैयारी है? सुनने में आया कि 1 और 2 तारीख को वर्कशॉप भी बुलाई गई है, किस तरह से काउंटिंग सेंटर्स पे बीजेपी के एजेंट्स की भी अपनी तैयारी होनी चाहिए पुख्ता तौर पे। तो आप लोग भी कैसे इंश्योर कर रहे हैं कि काउंटिंग सही हो, काउंटिंग रिग ना हो और कोई समस्या ना आए?
देखिए, काउंटिंग में हमारे कार्यकर्ता जो जाएंगे उसको तो ट्रेनिंग देना हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का काम होता है, तो उसका ट्रेनिंग भी होगा। पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के नाते वो हमारा काम है। शुरू हो चुका है उसकी तैयारी। और हम कार्यकर्ता को यानी काउंटिंग एजेंट जिसे बोला जाता है, काउंटिंग एजेंट सबको उनकी ट्रेनिंग होगी बाकायदा, क्या क्या चीज़ों पर ध्यान रखना है, कैसे ऑब्जेक्शन जताना है जहाँ पे ऑब्जेक्शन की ज़रूरत होगी, तो कहाँ पे रिकाउंटिंग की अगर ज़रूरत होगी वहाँ पे सारी चीज़ें समझाने के लिए हमारा वर्कशॉप हो रहा है। हमारे कार्यकर्ता लास्ट 2-3 इलेक्शनों से इस पे एक्सपीरियंस भी है। पहले हमारे पास ऐसे कार्यकर्ता की संख्या में कमी थी जो एक्सपीरियंस कार्यकर्ता है। अभी हमारे कार्यकर्ता धीरे धीरे 24 देख चुके हैं, वो इससे पहले 21 देख चुके, 19 देख चुके, कॉन्जिक्यूटिव 3 इलेक्शंस में जिन लोगों ने काम किया वो भी बहुत एक्सपीरियंस हो चुके हैं। मुझे लगता है काउंटिंग में भी ज़्यादा समस्या नहीं होगी।
सबकी निगाहें भवानीपुर पे टिकी हुई है कि भवानीपुर का रिजल्ट क्या आएगा। आप लोग को क्या लग रहा है, भवानीपुर एकदम एज पर है, बाकी वहां से जीत होगी या ममता रिटेन कर लेंगे अपनी सीट?
देखिए, मुझे लगता है कि भवानीपुर में हमारे लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन शुभेंदु अधिकारी जी जीतने वाले हैं और अच्छी खासी मतों से वो जीतने वाले हैं।
एक आखिरी सवाल दादा, एग्जिट पोस्ट में सबने 140, 145, 150, 170 के अराउंड बीजेपी को दिखाया है, लेकिन आप लोग अपने जो आप लोग का इंटरनल स्टैट्स कहता है, आप लोग कितने नंबर एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं?
देखिए, मुझे जो लगता है कि 170 से ज़्यादा सीटों के साथ भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने जा रही है और रिजल्ट ऐसा आ सकता है, जो हवा चली है वो हवा अगर हम सब सही से समझ पाए, ऐसा भी संख्या आ सकती है जो संख्या हम कभी सोचे नहीं है।
यानी कि चौंकाने वाला नतीजा
भी हो सकता है। वो हवा जो हवा चली है उसको भाप पाना इतनी आसान नहीं है।
Viewers, now quickly shifting focus to Tamil Nadu, where we're getting another breaking development from TVK's office has been burnt down by unknown persons overnight. This has happened in Trichy East, where TVK's office has been targeted ahead of the results of the polls on the 4th of May. Now remember, Vijay's TVK election office in Trichy East has reportedly been set on fire and burnt down by unknown persons, and this happened early morning just today, that is on the 1st of May. Now this office was located in the Trichy district within the Sri Rangam Assembly constituency. Now the office was not only completely destroyed and charred, but in addition to the fire, posters and party materials at the site were also reportedly completely torn down by hands. Take a look at the party office, completely charred, completely destroyed. Now, TVK Sri Rangam candidate Ramesh also says that they are seeking immediate arrest of the culprits. In fact, a formal complaint has been lodged with the police as well from the side of the TVK. Now, this incident occurs just days ahead of election results. In fact, joining me live on the broadcast is my colleague Sarda to get us more updates. Sarda, this is huge. TVK's office in Trichy has been burnt down. Party posters were found to be torn, and now a formal police complaint has been registered. What details do you have on this, Sarda?
Well, this comes after the exit poll showed TVK leading in numbers. In the exit poll, one TVK leading would be the winning party of the Tamil Nadu elections 2026, whereas two others showed TVK to be the opposition numbers more than what the AIADMK could score. So this comes right after the exit poll. The office was burned down last night. Whether it was due to an electrical malfunction, whether it was on its own, whether it was vandalizers who had burned down the office is something the police are yet to investigate and find out. A complaint has been registered as the TVK office in Trichy East has been burned down to ashes, and the police are inquiring this, also looking at the CCTV footages near the office to make sure that if it is not a vandalizer, just the electrical malfunction is what the police is an angle that they are looking at. However, the TVK has registered a complaint telling that the DMK functionaries might have a hand in it, and also complaint that while they were setting up the office for the election in Trichy East, that the DMK supporters did not allow them to. And now, after the exit poll results, with the results coming on the May 4th for the final results for the election, the TVK is setting up their office in almost all assembly constituencies where they are likely to win, and this comes right before the counting days. And the TVK has pointed out that if it is a man-made action, severe action should be taken.
Right, Sarada, thanks for getting us those details. In fact, severe chaos that's unfolding in Trichy now, where TVK says that their office was burnt down by opposition members, but the police is now looking at the case as an electrical malfunction. Viewers, for now, that's all that we could wrap for you in this edition of the News Bulletin. Don't go anywhere. News and updates continue on the other side, where we especially bring you, the exit polls that predict BJP's sweep in West Bengal and the panic that's now unfolding inside Bangladesh, with their MP Akhtar Hussain saying that a new BJP government will make sure that all illegal immigrants from Bangladesh are sent right back across the Indian borders. Now, in fact, also on the other side, Republic's big scoop on AIADMK and TVK talks, as TVK's General Secretary confirms on record that no alliance talks have been held with the AIADMK, clearing all air around the possible alliance. Getting you all the details. Stay tuned to Republic TV.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ, स्वाद आया? आया।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ। सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से MDH का जलजीरा जीरा से
जीरा सिप असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH
Corrector, the taste of success.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat.